to talk to the streamers about here. It's peace for the city. Instead of all the problems and the childish fighting.
Going.
How you doing? What's up, Ninja? Villain.
Sad fucking face.
Yeah.
Villain here.
Damn.
I'm not out here with the Patriots. I saw you guys streaming, and I'm kind of sick of all the fighting. All the little petty things.
I'm sick of it too. I made a long ass fucking
I'm out here
stream
to try to
about
see
it.
peace and just have a conversation with you guys.
What was your name?
Villain.
Oh yeah, you are Villain.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
What's up, man?
I know you guys, a lot of you guys hate me, but I think if you look through my stuff, I have not sought to dox any of you guys.
Here's my thing.
I haven't laid hands on any of you guys.
Apparently we all doxed Jake, but he doxed himself.
Yeah. Like twice already.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
What's up, Richard?
You can't really have a rational conversation with the judge. Once they view you as the enemy, they just want to try to attack you and intimidate.
What's funny is that the other side will say the same thing about antifa. They'll say you can't have a rational conversation.
I said the same shit on my stream earlier.
Okay.
You saw that?
How you doing?
Look, me and you have been saying the same shit that either way, if you try to...
Jared?
What?
It don't even
Jared?
matter. I don't even want to get on the
I don't
same
watch
damn
streams
rant.
usually.
That you've been getting on.
Someone's talking shit on me, and then everybody starts flooding me with their streams. And
How'd you know me?
we met before.
I mean, when I was up there, and he's like, "Oh, you're Baloo. I heard about you."
Yeah, I think Great Broker talked about you a little bit.
Oh,
Like,
that
makes
sense.
sense.
He
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
he
I
said
can't-
something
I
about
can't
how
have
you were
his
mad because
network
he was always
mentioned on my
mispronouncing your name.
He always called him Bailu or
He
something.
called me Baboon, Bailu.
Yeah.
No, it's not that I was mad. It was just it's kind of funny. I was like, he knows my fucking name. He said it perfectly when he's mad at me. But lately he's just been like baboon, balloon, and it just makes me giggle.
Yeah, we talked at the Delta Park event.
Yeah, when that dude threatened me with a baseball bat. Yeah.
Who did that?
This fat fucker.
Yeah. Everybody's tense on both sides, you know. So
Indeed.
just like last night. Who was here last night?
I was.
Dax was. Dax.
Dax.
Yeah, I met Dax.
Dax.
Suck a dag.
Yeah, he was here last night.
So I actually watched some of your film last night to like clarify what happened last night. So you guys started throwing eggs. Threw one egg, it missed the crowd, it hit like a guy that seemed like it was neutral, just happened to be there, hit him in the leg.
Yeah.
The next, somebody threw an egg and it hit Jake in the chest.
Yeah.
Bounced off of Jake and hit the other guy in the face, and then it didn't break until it hit the ground.
So was that egg not a wrapper?
That was
It
an
looked
egg,
like a
'cause
wrapper, yeah.
No, I
It's
broke
like
when
a
it-
boiled egg.
You saw it broke when it hit the ground. It was
Yeah.
just like a strong shelled egg.
Word.
So it hit Jake, bounced off of his chest, hit the other guy in the face, and that guy was just quick draw, boom.
Yeah.
But your guys is obviously he had his
Dude,
mace
he
already
was-
drawn.
Oh, I saw there were
I saw it
pictures
was
of
like
him
he was
like
holding
full
it.
ninja spray like across. I was like, oh shit, he was set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the minute he pulls that trigger, your side's spraying too, and so they already had it drawn. So you guys were throwing eggs at first, your side, and he was a little hot and quick draw. He's just like, wow. He thought I talked to him. He thought he had a rock thrown at him. Still, I wouldn't have pulled a mace for getting a rock hitting me, but you know.
Not randomly, the crowd.
Yeah.
Cops have done it for less.
Mr. Bill.
But I think
Mr.
that stuff
Bill.
needs to stop.
This
Like
science
I wasn't in Vancouver today, but I saw what happened. And dude pulls his gun on, starts choking a woman out. She's biting him. Apparently, she was trying to dox his car or something.
Holy
But
shit.
like this tension in our society needs to stop, you guys. Like a lot of this, like we have a lot of different beliefs, right? We've got total polar opposite beliefs. But a lot of all the skirmishes and all the deaths and all the violence that's happening, it's just hotheads. Like one guy in the crowd, it just pops off and the whole thing pops off.
Word.
We need level heads to come out and start chilling that stuff out before it happens. I don't know how many of you have seen people die in front of you. How many dead people have you held in your arms in the last couple months? But I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong? Is that where you guys are standing too?
Yeah. I mean, I've ever since I've been coming out, and I even like had a talk last night with or Friday night with I don't know what the lady's name is, the girl that like runs the Patriots. A lot of them were down here Friday night. It was before last night, and like they came over and were talking to me and Jared. Are like, are you guys the streamers? And I was like, yeah. They're like, well, are you good people? And I was like, yeah, I'm a good person. And they're like, why are you a good person? I just like had to explain, like, I'm not like down here like trying to get people in trouble. I'm not a violent person. Like I was a DJ before all that. I like to have fun and shit. So like I just come down here and just do my job. And like because I wear all black, because I think all black just happens to look dope, now I'm a terrorist. And it's just like it's so ridiculous.
I said they've even come at you for that, for looking like Antifa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got cuffed the other day for standing on the road, for walking along the road. It was ridiculous. It was arbitrary use of power.
I was watching her stream when that happened. Yeah.
I lost my shit. I was so
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
I was so mad. And don't get me wrong, like I'm a little bit disturbed by the people that are worshiping law enforcement. I'm not with you guys. I think that all cops are bastards. I think that's lunacy. But all cops are angels. That's just as dumb.
Yeah.
Like we've all experienced cops just talking down to us and treating us and roughing us. I don't know about you, but I've been thrown on a cop car several times, been cuffed for. The other day they actually had a technical thing on paper. Like I was technically in proper position on a highway, which is ludicrous. But there have been times where I've been cuffed and thrown on a police car just because. One time, I got cuffed and I had a mohawk at the time. So I got cuffed, the car pulls up to me, cuffs me, doesn't say anything, throws me on the hood of his car, and then he starts asking me, did you just shave? Did you just shave? Did you just shave? They're looking for a guy, no mohawk, but with a beard. And somehow, me and my clean-shaven face, like, they thought they were like, you must have went home and just shaved.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know a lot of officers that aren't down for that. One thing I have a problem with, I'll be honest with you guys, I've talked about it on my stream. The other day when they cuffed me, once they told me it was an order, I did not want to have part of that interaction. I wanted to go about my way. I could tell that they already were going to they already had the ticket pad ready for me.
I was surprised when you walked up to him because I was like maybe they're just gonna say something. But I was surprised when they're like, okay, we're gonna like grab you and stuff.
No,
I was like,
I knew by his body language and just by the fact that they were pointing me out and like everything was happening. Like there were people like they were.
It was weird because you had just got there and there was already people in the street the whole time. And like you said, people were committing crimes and they weren't doing anything about it.
The one thing I talked to the officer later, and it wasn't a very good conversation, but he thought I had been there all day. Like I was in black bloc that day. Even though nobody wears black bloc in blue jeans except me.
Trademark that shit.
But he told me that he'd warned me several times that day. So he thought I was in the crowd when they were warning people.
Yeah.
No, I just got there 7 minutes. No excuse. But once they told me it was a warning, and I didn't get to just go off, or not a warning, and that it was an order, I turned my stream off. I will never do that again. And
I know. I was surprised you did that.
I didn't want to get doxxed.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to be respectful. I didn't want to make a.
I understood where you're coming from when we were like, I didn't want to make a scene about it because like your
there's
platform
so much
and stuff.
stuff I'm so worried about just coming out here right now. Like, is my presence going to pop stuff off? And is my presence here just going to start a problem?
Yeah.
Probably.
And I like. I'm tired of all the violence and all the destruction and stuff. And that stuff needs to be filmed, but then again, sometimes just going out and filming it causes that stuff.
Problems,
so
yeah.
I have that.
I mean, the thing for me is like I live in Springfield, and so I'm like where a lot of the Patriots and a lot of them live from. So when things first started, I still am trying to be the best I can to be neutral, but I filmed a ton of their events, like just them. I went to just their events. I went to film them just in Salem. I've interviewed them multiple times, and like. It got to the point to where everyone started battling so much, and since like the majority of the events that I do film are BLM events, they just wrote me into that. So now I get like I have like this guy I have to press charges on because like I get death threats every single day. Like they follow me around in town. Like I went from like me getting along with all of them to them just like thinking that I was this terrorist, and then like now they all want to kill me all the time. And it's like I've never done anything like that. Like when all the fires and shit happened down in Springfield and Thurston, I raised like probably $2,000 or $3,000 in a couple weeks and gave it all to families. We put everyone in hotels, like did a bunch of shit, and then like I was at those events with gift cards in my hand, handing them out to families, and they were yelling at me, telling me I was a terrorist at those events. And I was like, this isn't the place for that. There's families here that are like coming here because they lost everything. It's ridiculous.
You gotta remember the context of society right now.
Yeah.
COVID, lockdown, people are losing their jobs, people are gonna lose their homes, people don't have money.
Well, with all the extra time,
everybody's crazy right
with
now.
all the extra time, they should dedicate more time to do some more research and learn what they're talking about before they just go out and go crazy.
Yeah, that's the rational thing to do, but everybody's scared right now. Not everybody's acting rationally right now. Like the whole world's upside down right now.
Yeah.
Things are weird right now. But hey, Dak, right?
Yeah.
So last night I was, everybody's pinging clips off your stream to me, like saying like you were stalking me. I don't know. I didn't see that on there. They said other things like, I watched one part where you were saying I don't know Villain. You said something you don't know about him.
Yeah.
He seems okay.
No.
But and then somebody in your stream said that I called you a Nazi. I've never done that, and that stuff happens so often online and so often in these groups where people just like say like, "Oh, this guy said something," and I like a lot of people a while back like were telling Soul Luna that I sent all my followers out to get him and to get him deplatformed off Facebook.
I know people are
And I
weird.
had nothing to do with that. Like after I heard about that, I told people like, "Hey, I have not asked this. If you guys are doing this, stop it. I don't want to do that. Like, why are you putting drama in my name? Who's causing these rumors?" But that stuff happens a lot. It's just like one person on the peripheral will make some salacious claim, and then everybody just believes it and goes with it. But you all are streamers. You know that some of your followers are fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah.
There's some
Oh, yeah,
Looney
we
Tunes
know.
out
Well, and
there.
the hardest part is, there's people that view both sides, and they'll go in there and just start shit. I mean, no matter what side you're on, there's,
Take care of that.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, are you Concrete? I met you up in Chop.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember the first time we met?
Up at the battle, up on the steps there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sitting down. You're like, you tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around. You're like, VillainReport. What's up? I got a couple questions for you. I was like, oh hey.
I think someone mentioned you in my stream. They're like, "Watch out, that Stray, he's antifa."
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't
That's
know.
what you asked me. You were like, so are you Antifa? I was like, I don't even know what that means. Because it was even earlier on. And I was like, no. I was like, I'm just filming. Try not to get shot. Because I was like, there's even people, I was like, getting paintballs were going by me and shit. I was just like, I'm just like, trying not to die. I'm just chilling.
Can I ask you a question? What's your name?
Ian.
Ian. Okay, I remember now. What happened? What happened with Concrete?
What do you mean?
Why'd you and CJ go separate ways?
Just had different visions.
Different visions? Do you guys still think the other one is a cop? When I met you at Chop, you both said that when you met, you thought the other guy was a cop.
No, the CJ thing with the cop thing, nobody's ever said that I was a cop, but
You guys were joking when you guys interviewed me a couple times up in Chop.
Yeah, I remember
you
that,
guys
yeah.
were teasing each other like, when we met, we were both teasing each other.
Yeah, so that probably started, I don't remember specifically, but that probably started with, because a lot of people back then thought that CJ was a cop because he just looks like a cop, but but yeah, I think that probably started just by me saying something and then he probably said, oh, well, you're a cop or something like that, but yeah, no, that's never, neither of us have ever really thought that the other ones were cops.
Yeah.
And I've said publicly so many times, like, CJ's not a cop. Yeah, he looks like one, but
Yeah.
no, he's not a cop.
I was kind of running a joke at the time. Remember when that guy fell off his bike, hit one of the concrete
I remember
barriers?
that, yeah.
And I went up and I was checking him
And
out.
CJ was
and
in
then
there
CJ whispers on the mic, "Told you he's a cop."
Oh, yeah.
Accusing me of being a cop.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, everybody's a cop nowadays.
No, our phones is the cop, actually.
Yeah, our phone. Yeah, your phone's a cop.
Only cops say that.
They only tags cameras with a cop.
I don't know where you guys stand. I go around and ask you what you guys are doing out here, but me, I don't want to hurt anybody. I avoid hurting anybody as much as possible. I think that violence should only be used in self-defense. There's a lot of people on both sides that I think they're just foaming at the mouth for some retaliation. I don't want any of that. I don't support that. I don't support going and beating the other side up for what they've done before. I do support self-defense. I'm tired of seeing innocent people get
About
hurt.
what?
I'm tired of seeing innocent business owners get their property messed with.
Well, can we agree that it's okay to punch Nazis? Are you sick of
No,
seeing? Wait,
I
no.
don't think so.
Okay. Are you sick of seeing innocent black people getting hurt?
I'm sick of seeing innocent people in general get hurt. I'm not a racist, so I don't care what people's color are. If they're a black person and they experience injustice, I don't want that. If they're a white person or a brown person, anyways, I don't want to see people have injustice.
Okay, so you don't think that all the things that people
That's a
have been
leading
protesting?
question. Can you ask me a question that's not a leading question?
It's my question. I mean, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but it seems like through everything that you do, that most of your supporters are on one side, and you seem to cater to those people. So I'm asking you that question for a reason.
Are your supporters on one side?
I mean,
That's the way the whole country is right now. Everybody's split down the middle.
well, I would say that the people that
I piss my supporters a lot. You should see my DMs after I cussed the cops out for
I'm
arresting
sure.
me, or cuffing me the other day.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're telling me like, "Oh, Villain, you should have just obeyed. You disobeyed an order." I did not disobey an order. And they're like, "Oh, if you just followed the law, you wouldn't have got thrown in a cage." And when that first night, I think it was the night after the Delta Park event where the officers were federalized and they went around slamming you guys into the walls and pushing in the trees. There was a guy they pushed down on the ground, told him to get up. Once he tried to get up, they pushed him down again. I called that stuff out on my platforms, and I said that was brutality, and I did not stand for it. I got so much crap for saying that, and people want me to pick a side, and I obviously lean right, but I am more of a centrist. But if I see injustice on any side, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a cop. I'm not going to blink my eye, turn my head because I'm team cop and I'm going to let them get away from something. Just as if I see you guys, I'm not going to. I'm going to try. I get angry sometimes because I see the antifa people hurting people. Like when I think you were filming when that lady got blue.
Yeah.
Old lady.
I've gotten so much shit for I got so much shit for that because everyone was like, why in the hell did you not go up there and stand up for him, blah 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 blah. And it was like, yeah, like it would have been like if any other situation or whatever, I obviously would have stood up, but like they're behind me, like I was in the front filming, so people were just like, oh, it was just you up there. There was like probably 60 to 80, 100 people behind me, and I had witnessed that night other people trying to stop that guy and other people doing stuff and them like stopping them, and so I'm not.
It's funny, a bunch of people contacted me about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you and Luna were trading streams at the time or sharing streams.
No, we
but
weren't.
They weren't sure if it was you or if it was Soul.
It was me.
And
It was
they were,
my
like,
stream.
telling me how disappointed they were in you guys. For
It was
not
my
sending it. I was
stream.
like, why are you telling me this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was like again, if I were to see that happen now, then obviously, yeah, like to just an old lady like that, that's not cool. That doesn't make any sense. But like, even in that situation, I know it sounds weird. It's like sounds weird to say, but like. What was happening? I didn't feel like he was like gonna attack her. I like just like the energy. Like I didn't feel like it was gonna be like super horrible. Like I'm usually pretty good at like just like feeling like the energy around me and shit. And like I don't know. Like I wasn't gonna step in because like I saw all night people doing that and people getting fucked up for it. And like I have a lot of like nice, expensive gear, and I'm not gonna go up there and get paint thrown on me and knocked to the ground and all my shit knocked out of my hand. You know what I mean? Like. But it's just not safe, you know what I mean? As much as and I've had people be like, oh well, fuck you, like all the patriots and shit. They're like, well, I would have done it. Oh, if I was there, I would have done it. And then like go out there and start doing it and see what happens. Like people get fucked up for it. I've been following this for.
I understand what you're saying. I've got a couple situations where I have stepped in and risked, but I've also got a situation like when Ian and CJ the first time they interviewed me at Chop, they were asking me what it was like down there, and I told them that it was freaking crazy in the park at night in the tent area because you hear people beating the crap out of each other. And I said, I think I heard a couple like sexual assaults or rapes. And CJ's like, oh, did you just bust down and go kicking in tent doors and go in there? And I was like, no, I did not do that.
Yeah.
That would have got me. That would not have worked out well for anyone.
Yeah.
That's
Can I follow up on that question though?
Yeah.
Because I feel like, and I'm sorry if you're not, but I feel like you're avoiding the race question. You did say that you don't think that any injustices should be happening on anybody. I guess I could support that too, obviously. But all right, I'll ask a more direct question. Do you believe that something has to be done about the police murdering innocent people? You call them black or whatever, but innocent people, do you think that something has to be done, yes or no?
I have not, from my perception, I have not seen the police murdering innocent people. Give me an example.
I mean, seen with your own eyes, or like what we all know about? Because there's Breonna
The
Taylor, there's George Floyd.
The instances I've looked into, I don't see it as, you're making it a very cut and dry situation where the police murdered somebody.
Okay, Breonna Taylor, no knock warrant,
That's
which
a good
they
question,
repealed.
sir.
We're having a conversation.
Which they later passed legislation against no knock warrants, basically, saying that was wrong. She was murdered. Well, she was killed. You can say killed if you want, but she was killed because they had a no knock warrant and they busted in and they killed Breonna Taylor. There's an example.
So, certain things that I look at this, and I try not to take hardline stuff on things I don't know and I don't see firsthand. And I've been wanting to dive deeper into this case and see why everybody on each side of it, they are just convinced concretely that their view is right, and they can't talk to each other. You can't even give information. So originally the story was that Breonna Taylor was laying in bed. She got shot in bed. She was in the hallway standing up. She had a gun in her arms. Another thing is, as I understand it, her boyfriend was living the gangster life and he was selling drugs. And my perception of that is that you can't completely say that you're just an innocent bystander if you choose to go into that world and associate with that dangerous lifestyle. Whether or not we can say that I'm against the war of drugs. I think the drugs should be legalized. I think that it should be a personal choice until you commit a crime with a victim. I am for freedom.
Yeah, Breonna Taylor did not have a gun though.
She didn't?
She did not have a gun.
All right. But she was.
But you just said that you don't want to take hardline stances on things that you don't know. But you're so willing to believe that she had a gun based on what?
I'm not taking an overarching narrative saying that I believe that I'm going to say that it was murder or it was complete innocence. I'm taking the facts, and I have to you have to act in the world. So as far as the information I have at hand, I have to act on that. But so she didn't have a gun.
No, and
I'm
also
against-
her boyfriend was also not selling drugs.
He wasn't.
No.
Why? What was
That
with
has
the-
become the story, yes, but
what
no,
was
that's
with all
not
the
true.
pictures of them on Instagram and on their social media showing themselves like with guns and just presenting themselves that way?
Well, they live in Louisville. I mean, I was in Louisville when they had that the officers not getting charged. Everyone has guns in Louisville. I mean, and if they have the guns in their apartment, they're taking pictures of them. There's no law against that. There's nothing, you know.
Why were the cops raiding his house in the first place?
The story behind it was there's someone that I don't remember the guy's name, but there was someone they were looking for. They had a warrant for someone specific, and someone had given them a hint that was Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, which it wasn't. It was someone that had actually picked up in custody like 2 hours before, but they had gotten a hint or like a note. Someone called them and told them that the guy was at that house, so that's why they were originally at that house. That's what the court papers said. That's why there's a no-knock warrant. That's why they showed up at that house. It was for a separate man that they believed was the man who lived there.
And just the logic of a no-knock warrant, right? Like, all of a sudden, you're in your home, you're chilling out, you hear somebody pounding on the door, and now they're breaking the door down. What are you gonna do? You're gonna pull out your gun and defend yourself, you know? And that's what happened.
Yeah, so I've been looking in the no-knock warrant lately, and I'm trying to figure out like what.
You need to watch Vice's documentary on it. Have you seen it? Vice they bought like a lot of the footage and body cam footage and have like a lot of like unseen and like actual stories, and like they talked to a lot of the officers
They
in the
bought police body cam footage?
Yeah.
What kind of country we're living in where you can sell body? Why isn't it available freely to everyone? It's a public.
Exactly.
It was like the footage that, and a lot of them said that they didn't have body cams on, but they did, so they got a lot of that shit, and they interviewed a ton of the like FBI and the people that showed up after the police, and I guess like a ton of the police like were like still walking around on the scene when they weren't supposed to, and a bunch of just go when you get home, just go on Vice and watch the documentary on it. It's like pretty good.
And you say you don't have enough information to make a hardline stance. There is a lot of information out here, and what have we been doing this for like 6-7 months now? Like,
nobody wants to listen to you guys because the people in Black Bloc are hurting innocent people. They're vandalizing buildings, and so nobody wants to listen to you. It's like by listening to these people that are rioting, am I encouraging them to get their message across more by rioting? I never heard Antifa out there giving like a YouTube video expressing their point of view before all this happened. How I came to know Antifa is by them hurting people on the streets and attacking businesses and destroying corporations.
Well, that's because unfortunately a lot of that side of the movement just kind of, I guess you would say, piggybacked or like kind of squeezed into like the BLM movement that was posting the videos and that was out here for social justice and actually being in the streets and talking about like what they wanted, and that's why the protests and stuff were so big and so like intense to begin with, because people were actually out here for those reasons, and the people that just wanted to come out and break shit and just do dumb shit weaseled their way in and just made it to the point where it was dangerous for anybody to come out, because now anybody that comes out for a BLM protest is Antifa, and they're getting attacked and they're getting bear sprayed, and
it's like an evolution of the protest too, because at first that we had tens of thousands of people in the street protesting for Black Lives Matter and like protesting the death of George Floyd, right? Like those protests have gone unanswered. Like there's no justice. Like the mayor hasn't made any concessions. There haven't been any like defunding of the police in like 5 months. Like so people are just like frustrated. So I think right now it's just like people organize online and they go out and they fucking smash it because they're not heard. You know what I mean? Like a riot is the language of the unheard, according to Martin Luther King and like Malcolm X and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but
I'm
the
not
same thing right
advocating.
now,
I'm not advocating for riots.
I see groups of right-wing people across the country calling to just go out and just show up and just pummel the rioters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like it goes both.
And I'm not for that. I'm not for that. And I just spoke out today on my platform a couple times, and I'm saying like I'm not a complete pacifist. I'm not. But I think violence should be the last resort.
Well, yeah, I think
And
it's
these
always an
people
option.
on both sides that are jumping to violence quickly. I'm like I just said, Antifa. Where were you guys trying to find your peaceful voice before you started rioting. How come nobody's seen that? Why weren't you guys out there using a peaceful voice before the riots? On the same side, on the Patriot side, the ones that just want to come out and in the riots and the unrest by force and just beat people bloody, I'm saying, why have you not showed up in the hundreds and thousands just peacefully and just show a presence and say, this needs to stop before, show the voice before we go to violence?
I'm not sure. I think there are those movements, like the BLM movement started, like, what, in 2012? Like, there's lots of marches and things that happen during the day. And, like, the riots aren't coming first. Like, there's definitely peaceful protest up front.
The first time I ever saw BLM was here in Portland. I was walking downtown one day, and there was a march going. And I heard about BLM before, but I'd never really seen videos of them. I'd never seen their marches, never come across it. And there was a clear feeling on my side that if I said something wrong, or if I got in their way, or if I was pointed out to be an outsider, violence would happen.
What do you mean by your side? Like when you were there, when you thought you might have been like targeted for something.
I was just walking down the street alone.
Was it just you?
I came around a corner. Yeah, it was just me. I came around a corner. I stepped out of a little convenience store, and a march of at least 100, maybe I don't know, at least 100 people were marching down. They looked very, very angry, and they had BLM signs. And I was like, this is a group of people to avoid.
Oh yeah. Well, basically what that is that's just traditional protest. You're out in the street, you're angry, you're loud, you're trying to disrupt an organ, like a
that's
system.
What I disagree with. The Constitution doesn't give us the right to protest or riot. It gives us the right to peacefully assemble.
Peaceably assemble.
Yes.
Peaceably.
And if I see a group meeting or going for a march to the
But
city,
it also says you can
or
petition your
meeting
government.
at a park square and speaking their message, I'm all for that. I don't care if you're speaking about Nazis or speaking about like some crazy left-wing violent. I don't care. You have your voice, and you should be able to do that. Until you start intimidating and becoming a direct threat to other people, I'm for
But
it.
that's an originalist view of the Constitution, because the Constitution is written vague on purpose. So, like, it says you have the right to petition your government, you have the right to peaceably assemble. It doesn't say how specifically you have to do that. So, like, the Constitution was written.
Interpretation.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
say that the Constitution is written vague on purpose.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I read the Constitution, it seems simple and
No,
plain to me.
perfectly fine. Like, that's what I mean. There's, like, and, like, conservative and, like, liberal and whatnot politics, there are originalists who view the Constitution exactly as written, exactly as, like, the Supreme Court. They'll, like, have originalist views. But, like, on, like, our side, we have, like, other views, like maybe the Constitution can be interpreted in different ways in different situations just because it's 4 sentences, an amendment. You know what I mean?
Like I said, when I read the Constitution, it seems cut and dry and plain. And I think that people that want to change it manipulate the words and they try to make it vague.
Well, it says you have the right to petition the government. It doesn't say you have to do it in a park. It doesn't say you can't do it in the street. You know what I mean? There's no no's in it. There's just what you can do. So it's up to another court to make a decision on if you can't do that.
It also talks about the rights of the individuals.
Yeah.
A lot of these protests that become violent or intimidating or disruptive trample on the rights of other individuals.
Yeah, I always think back to it's cliche, but the Boston Tea Party, that was a protest, and it's what started our country.
It was destruction of property.
It was destruction of property.
A revolutionary act meant to start a war.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting these protests?
Well, a lot of the
demonstrations
protests
in
are
streets
calling
meant
for
to start a war?
revolution. Well, we call for revolution.
I don't want anything to do with war. I want us to find peace with each other.
That's true.
I think that anybody, there's people on both sides that are
I don't think there's a
stating that
war.
It's going to be so cool that we have a war and then we
Fuck
get
that,
everything fixed
no,
out
no.
through that way.
Hold on.
I think
I don't think
We're not calling
anybody
for a
who's
war.
been protesting wants a war.
I don't. No, hold on.
Yeah.
I don't think that the Boston Tea Party was. I don't think that the intent was to start a war. It was the whole thing was no taxation without representation. That was the whole point. They didn't want a war. They just wanted the policy to change.
I think that doing that act of defiance and disrespect to the crown, any thinking person in that day
knew what that was going to
They
cause.
probably knew, but I would say they probably also hoped that for a peaceful resolution too. But they believed in what they wanted so strongly, they were willing to go to war for it. And that was the whole thing. What you're seeing here is you're seeing black and brown people that have been dealing with this for so long that at this point there's not a whole lot more options. They're still getting killed. Like no matter what they do, they still get killed. They still get okay. The other night, or when you had that happen to you, the citation, they threw you on the car, the hood of the car or whatever, right? Sorry, I'm trying to distance because I'm so.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just
It's a directional mic, so I guess I don't need to.
No, I had the same one. But yeah, no.
Okay.
What happened to you the other night? You got pissed about it. I was watching. I remember because it struck me
I haven't
how.
been that mad in years.
Yeah, you were so mad, but I was wondering, and I'm glad you're here because I wanted to ask you this personally. Do you understand that what you felt in that moment was just a small fraction of what black and brown people feel all the time? Not when they're confronted by the police, but when they leave their house to go to the store, when they go to for a walk in the park, anything.
I think that's a perspective claim, and I just don't see that perspective. If you want to show me that's true, the president of the New York Police Union a while ago, he made a statement that black mothers are scared that their preteen kids, I'm paraphrasing horribly, are going to get shot by police walking home from the park or walking home from school, and he just said flat out that does not happen. It does not happen.
Okay, well, who said that?
Yeah, I believe he was the president of the New York State Police Union.
Okay, well, of course he's going to say that. But also, okay, here's an example. This is something that I didn't learn until I started covering the protests. So it kind of blew me away. It is a universal experience for black families to have that conversation with their kids. Like, hey, if you encounter the police, you have to act a certain way or things can go really, really bad for you. That's something that I never had to experience as a kid. It blew me away that that's and it's not just it happens a little bit.
I have an answer
it's a
to that.
universal
I have an answer to
experience.
that.
Okay.
So, you know how they say white people don't have culture? Some people will say white people don't have a culture. You ever heard that before?
I think that the expression is
So,
that white isn't a culture.
the
but
Western
sure.
system demands people conform to the system. White people have been a part of the Western system for longer, and they have conformed. I think that they've cucked out a lot of things, and they've given up their freedom, and they've given up their fight a lot of times. And I think that when you make that argument that parents are teaching their black and brown children, can you step back from me, bro? When parents are teaching their black and brown children to act a certain way about the police, white parents teach their kids the same thing. It's just more ingrained in our culture. It's more ingrained in our system.
But what they're teaching their kids is
stickers from police, actually.
What'd you say?
I said usually white kids get stickers from police. Actually.
So do black kids. I see cops going in the neighborhood and playing basketball. And
they're not being told they have to act like a certain way around the police. They're saying if you get confronted with the police, don't put your hands in your pockets. Don't,
Yeah,
don't.
but the same thing happened in generations past with Italian immigrants and Irish immigrants.
And that was wrong too.
And Polish immigrants.
And that was wrong too.
all
And
those
it was
groups-
also racist.
All those groups have been blurred into now into this thing called white people. That's
Right.
a new thing, and it came out in like the 50s or 60s. There was no like white people before like 40, 50 years ago. It was everybody was their nationality before that. And so what I'm saying is I understand that, but white people have also had to conform. They've just been conforming to the tyranny of the West longer.
Okay, well, but does that make it right?
What I'm saying is that we don't need to focus on race. We need to focus on the injustices. If you just focus on the injustice, we can tack those and we can be unified on it. Like before all this Black Lives Matter and Antifa stuff happened, who was the ones against the right? It was right-wing white people in America, right? They were the ones forming the militias. They were the ones rebelling against the state, talking about the overreach of the federal government, and all of a sudden just flipped. And now, like the people that we call the patriots coming out here, those are the types that 10 years ago would have been rebelling against the state.
It's ironic.
That shit is crazy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
We've had this like great flip in our society. It's so weird.
But my point is that even if you strip race away from it, I would be happy if you were to agree that all of it is wrong, and to start supporting.
Yes,
that.
I do. I agree that injustice is wrong.
Okay,
So my question to you is, are you going to join Antifa or whatever you say?
What'd you say?
Are you going to join Antifa
No.
or whatever you say it now?
No, I think it's an extremist ideology and it's black and white thinking. I can take things one at a time. I can say that there are bad cops without going to the extreme of saying ACAB. I can take things one at a time. I'm my own person. I can think for myself. I can deal with individual situations at a time. I'll look at let's do a thing. Let's several of us let's gather up all the information. Obviously, none of us have all the facts about Breonna Taylor. We've all mentioned that we don't know certain things about it. Let's look into it as a group and evaluate it with rational minds and see where we come with the data.
We could try that.
We could try it.
I'd do it. I've really been wanting to look into it.
I'm sure it's already in a dictionary somewhere.
Here's one more thing that I have specifically a problem with you, is that you use the word Antifa as this like monolith, like a lot of people do, honestly. Like a lot of people use this word Antifa to demonize a whole group of people, when in reality, when you look at a BLM protest, you might have a couple people that identify as Antifa, you know, and a lot of those are like these little white kids that are anarchists that just want to latch onto something. But for the most part, when you see those groups of people, it's just a bunch of people that just care a lot about human rights. Like, so when you are on your stream and you know what kind of viewership you have, and you go and say, oh, all these Antifa people, you know, like you actually solidify in these people's brains that all these people are Antifa.
Honestly,
I don't control the people's minds.
No, you don't. But what we all do, you have the same, but you have the same influence that we do. Same influence that we all do.
You've obviously followed my platform.
I've seen some of your stuff.
You see a lot of things that you know about me. Then you'll also know that I try to be very, very precise with my words. Just the other night, I think it was last night, it was today on my stream down in Silverton. We marched on to the guy. I don't know if you guys knew. There was a march onto.
So we marched too. Who were you with?
It was a Patriot Prayer event and another group that came together. We went to this guy's house. He was an OSHA official. There was 4 gyms that this guy owns, and the OSHA official gave them a $90,000 fine for keeping their gym open. And what he was keeping his gym open for is because there was a lot of elderly people there, and they do their therapy there. They keep their hearts active. There's a guy that spoke today that says he can't walk right unless he goes and does his swimming therapy 4 or 5 times a week. And that guy was keeping his gym open, for one thing, to feed his family, to feed his employees, but also for that community. And the state came in and gave him $90,000 fine. We went to his house in Silverton today. We stood on his house, on his street, and we spoke and we bullhorned him. We are against that kind of tyrannical government. But I got lost there. Back to the point.
You said we though. Or are you like still a patriot then? Are you with the group, like with all the patriots? Or?
So that's where I was going with. So while I was at that event today, I said, "Oh, the patriots," and I hate trying to like boil down like an idea into one word and simplify it. And like I hate like you'll watch me and I'll be like. Antifa or Black Lives Matter or the rioters or the Black Bloc, and I'm searching for the appropriate word that's not so divisive to
activists.
Activists or protesters. Say activists or protesters.
Well, even
Activists or
protesters.
protesters.
But I can't call the group an activist when an activist doesn't go around hurting people and destroying businesses. So I can't. That's not an activist.
90%.
But also,
99%
so today I said I have a hard time calling that group patriots because I just when it comes out of my mouth I feel like I'm saying something pompous. It's not that I don't like these people or I think anything about them. There's just that word. I was just like I spoke about trying to find an accurate word to describe that, and I'm constantly like I usually try to call the riots or the protests. Neither one of those words are right. I try to call them unrest events more. But if you follow my platform and you say you have these opinions about me, then you should know that I'm constantly trying to like find the right word to accurately say something. And I'm a hothead. I'm an emotional person. So a lot of times I say things salaciously and then I regret it later. But I try to speak accurately without being divisive.
But don't patriots prefer to be called patriots?
They do.
Aren't they like, we are the patriots?
Yeah, but it means different things to it. It means different things to the group. Like earlier you said that the group that you were this woman that's leading the Patriot group, and I think you're talking about Audra.
Yeah.
She leads a group on Facebook called Cops Northwest.
Yeah.
She runs like the flag wave events.
Yeah.
There are many different groups in the Patriot movement, and they all fight. They all have a hard time getting along, just like your guys' group.
Yeah.
Just like I saw in Shop. There were more than one Black Lives Matter group up in Shop. There was Antifa, there were the communists, there were the what they call them back then, the Coachella people that were just partying in the ball field. They were like, you guys have factions that aren't all unified as well. Same thing.
It's changed a lot since then too. It's changed a lot. Like a lot of the organization and groups, like like a lot of like the black leadership groups and stuff, especially in this area and up in Seattle, it's like formed a lot into like a lot smaller groups for like people who are like organizing together and stuff. It's a lot more like put together, I think, now from what I've experienced, because I know a lot of the people who own and run almost every one of their groups.
I think both sides, as far as this goes on and keep going on, it's going to get more organized. But to address what you said again, you'll notice that when I interact with people individually, when I met Trey for the first time, I was told that he was antifa and to watch out for him. I went up and addressed him personally and talked to him and asked him who he was. When I met Dak last night, I spoke to him and talked to him. I told him that I didn't think that fucker that chased me through town on June 12th, that knocked him out, a cowardly sucker punch, I told him he didn't deserve that. I treat people as individuals, and I try to find the right word. It's hard to be unsalacious in this environment. I'm sure that you guys do the same thing. Man. You call them the Patriots or the Chuds? The Chuds? You're gonna get on me for using a word?
We do
Come
say
on.
Chuds, you're right.
Or everybody's a Nazi.
But here's the thing,
I was sitting there yesterday. They were telling the Nazis to go home. I was sitting on the steps over there, and I was like, "Where are Nazis?" And those fuckers need to go home.
But like you said, patriots, they call themselves patriots, and they want to be called that. And just think of the meaning behind the word. They want to be called patriots because you say, "Oh, look, it's a group of patriots." Like, "Oh, look, they are all about American values, and how could we be against them?" But then you've got Antifa, who most of people don't even call themselves Antifa, but when they do, they're calling themselves anti-fascist because that's what they believe in. They believe in anti-fascism. But what your side does is you shorten it down to Antifa. It's just like when in the McCarthy era they started calling everybody communists,
We did not coin that term. That was the term Antifa used.
Right,
Antifa
right.
calls himself Antifa.
Right.
And yeah, we use their words.
But does anybody on that side say
calling
the anti-fascist? No, they say
they're
Antifa
calling
because
everybody
now
that.
Antifa has been the meaning of the word has been changed. It's supposed to mean anti-fascist, but now
It's
it
completely
means,
something
what does it
different.
mean? It
I
means
can't
like,
walk past-
rioters or
Just like the
Maybe
Antifascista in 1930s Germany, it was the militant wing of the Communist Party that was standing up against the fascist wing of Italy and Germany. There were two opposing ideologies that were both extreme ideologies. It's a play on word, it's rhetoric. Because many people don't like the Antifa because it's such a play on words, because you guys are out there telling, not you guys, the group is telling people who can stream, who can say, who can talk to who, but the other side's doing it too. Just today at the event today, I walked up to try to interview somebody I didn't know, and somebody came up and whispered in their ear and said, "Oh, that's a lefty, don't talk to him." Like, "Oh, we're not going to talk to you." And I had to get somebody to vouch for me. So both sides does that. But to call the group anti-fascist, and then you have so many totalitarian fascist tendencies, it's an oxymoron.
But it's not everybody, and everybody there gets roped into it. I can't walk past a crowd of Patriots anymore without them threatening me and calling me Antifa Press. I'm not fucking Antifa Press. I'm independent press. I own my own business, and I do my own shit.
I
I'm
have
doing
not
my job.
confirmed it because I get so much drama in my streams, and I'm sure you do in my chats and my DMs. But the night in Vancouver, when we were walking and I came up next to you and we talked to each other for a second, I have not confirmed it, so it could be BS. But apparently, a lot of people were claiming that you were calling me a chud and like pointing me out to people.
No,
after
I
that.
didn't. No,
Okay.
I didn't. No.
Okay.
I told other streamers that were there. Like I talked to Jared and Adam, and I said Villain's here, and then you walked like right behind us, and I was like, yeah, he's walking around, but I never called you a chud. I just said Villain's here.
Yeah, I refer you as Villain as well. I mean, I know who you are. I've watched a bit of your stuff when I have free time, but I just call you. You're one of the.
And anybody that's seen my stuff over the months, you notice I've gone a little bit more centrist. When I was in Chop, when you met me in Chop, I was trolling Chop a little bit. And when I was first, for those couple weeks that I was streaming and in the riots here on Twitch, I was asking genuine questions, and my goal was to try to humanize the people that I was talking to. I was trying to make them look like humans rather than just these monsters that were rioting it. And that's why people like my interviews. But I was also kind of intensely also mixing my own like push for a view system on there. And I've moved more and more and more trying to back my own ego off and really get to see things for true. Because like, and why I'm doing that is I see both sides just demonizing each other, and that scares the hell out of me. Because anytime you see a genocide in the history of the world, what happens is the sides start dehumanizing each other. In Nazi Germany, Hitler started referring to the Jews and the undesirables as infestations. In Rwanda, I believe the Hutus were calling the Tutsis, or maybe it was the other way around, they were calling them cockroaches. You see that over and over and over. Both sides are starting to speak to each other. And if you've watched my platform, you've seen me call out the Patriots and say Antifa might be doing bad things and they might be hurting people, but they are human. They are still human, and we can't talk about them. We can't go that route. We can disagree with what they're doing. We can be angry about it, but we can't get to the point where we start dehumanizing each other. That's a bad route for society to go.
Do you know why the Patriots come here? Like sometimes they'll come to Portland, they'll wave flags, open carry, like it feels like it's an attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me give you this.
Because like we're out here
remember
doing
the
our
night
own thing.
JP, the memorial up there on 99. And so some people were upset that they were coming up, and the Patriot side had guns, and they were showing up to their memorial. The Patriot
Are you
side.
talking about the one in Vancouver for Kevin Peterson?
Yes.
Yep.
So the Patriot side was in fear that another city was going to be ransacked by riots because of this. I have a hard time believing that the whole group was there just to memorialize him. And it's kind of disturbing, the details of that situation where the video has come out now. He did open up fire on cops. But
I don't think that's true.
The video is out.
I watched it. He didn't open
But
fire.
You didn't?
I could see.
The video
from,
says they didn't.
We're gonna have to
we'll check
we're
it
not
out.
gonna be able to do that
Yeah.
right now, so we'll have to go look at facts later and call me out if I'm wrong. But I can see how there was a fraction there that was just maybe a mother or family members or friends were there just to legitimately have a memorial, and it would be very disturbing to have a militia show up and like be against you doing that. But that's not why the Patriots were there.
I think
But
the main issue.
I was at the memorial, and at the end of it, after the family dispersed, there was a candlelit vigil and everything. Someone on the Patriot side drove their truck over the candles.
Yeah,
And
there's assholes in every movement. There's
I feel like I don't know why they
is
showed
Michael
up.
Reinhall? Is he a member of you guys?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know.
He's the guy that shot Jay.
Oh.
Any of you guys vouch? Any of you?
I didn't know
Anybody?
beforehand.
He's a fucking crazy guy, right? I think he was a meth addict. And he was a Looney Tunes. I don't look at him as a standard
Well, I
actor.
wouldn't say
in
that
your,
without knowing him because I do know.
Yeah, I don't know that.
I do know his baby mama, and although they were together anymore, I don't think she would say that about him. And I just think that's disrespectful to say that about somebody without knowing.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't jump to conclusions if we're not 100% sure, because we have an audience. Like we have an audience, we shouldn't just jump to conclusions about Michael.
I've got to speak from my voice the way I speak from it. That's what
I
I'm
don't think
led to believe
anybody
about
should
it.
die for stupid reasons like battling against each other like that. Like
Didn't you just speak on like having more education about like knowing a little bit more? It's
You
like
say you didn't want to take hardline stances about
Yeah,
things that
hardline
you don't have enough
stances.
So
information.
if you
conversations that I've had with people in the protest movement, they have rejected him. John Hacker called him deplorable things and disowned him and said he wasn't part of the movement. And several people have said that he was a drug addict. And so,
No, he might have done
it's not
something
something. It's not something one off on the.
several people say I'm a drug addict. Several people say that I got half the protesters pregnant.
I try to reserve extreme talk, but I use it sometimes. I do not feel bad for calling Michael Reinhall a drug addict and a deranged person. He
Sure,
shot
we
somebody.
Drugs aren't bad. Remember you said that earlier. Drugs should be decriminalized
I
and
thought
legal.
No,
and
no,
shit.
I think that people should be free. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
say drugs are good. I think in the vast majority of situations, drugs are bad for people and they're dangerous. But I don't think that it's the government's or anybody else's place. For
I don't
you
think we
to tell
should
you what
label
you can
someone a
and cannot
drug
do.
from what I
addict.
saw from the actual video footage, somebody pulled out a can of mace and then he ended up shooting.
Which isn't
were
right,
either of those
obviously.
the correct thing to do? Probably not. But the feds went to his house and killed him. He didn't have a gun on him, but he was still shot down.
All
From the video
witnesses-
that I've
all
seen.
and they didn't go to his house. They got him in a car.
Or somebody,
He was in a
his
car.
safe house, whatever house he was at.
We can debate the reports and the witness accounts, but all the witness accounts and the reports say that he opened fire on the police.
That's not what I heard and saw.
Donald Trump said specifically that they took care of him. Like they were there to kill him.
Yeah, Donald Trump. One of the reasons why people like him on the right is because he's not politically correct and he just speaks and he's not slimy with his words and he's blunt with his words.
Mission accomplished.
So sometimes he just speaks bluntly.
I was originally going to say the night of the memorial. One of the issues I know the protesters and the people that were there for the memorial was when the memorial started, the Patriots originally had a flag wave like 2 blocks down the street of the Fred Meyers, and then as the memorial started, those people came over to the memorial rather than staying on
It
the
happens
side.
on both sides.
right outside,
Last
I saw
night,
a bunch of
the
people
4 or
come
5
walk by.
Patriots were down there. Antifa was up here at about 30 or 40 people. One of the Patriots came to enter the area through here, and he walked through that area, and they started surrounding him. So the Patriots moved up here to make sure he wasn't going to get jumped. And then they went over by the statue, and Antifa was over here. You watch the videos, Antifa keeps encroaching, 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 encroaching. And then finally, they're 6 feet apart. You guys, Antifa, or the unrest people were starting to throw eggs. And then we got one hothead in the crowd that pulls a cool hand Luke because he gets hit in the chest with an egg. So
yeah,
that's how that kind of stuff happens on both sides. How about this? every time there's a Patriot event in Portland, Antifa shows up and will not let them just peacefully protest.
That goes
They chase
both
them out of the
ways.
city every
Because they're
step.
trying to deplatform white supremacy. That's the idea
What
behind that.
protesting? What are they protesting?
Yeah, what are they protesting?
Because they weren't out there doing flag waves
Riots.
before this.
There's a sense of
So they're
that their
protesting
cities are
against those
unsafe
people
and that
that
society is
come out
being
and be
degraded and democracy is being taken away.
They're protesting against people like expressing, like practicing their rights. Is pretty much what they're doing.
No, all of the Patriots are. If you guys have a march, the Patriots don't come up and interrupt the march.
That's not true.
That's not true.
It's
at
not
all.
true.
That's not
That's
true
a load.
at
That's a
all.
load of fucking crap. I have evidence. I'll throw you all day. That's not true at all. Especially
Your
in
car,
my
and somebody
area. That's
came
not
up.
true at all. She got bear maced by one of them. Like they like were blocking our cars and were trying to stand in front of our trail cars, and like we were trying to leave, and they were following us and
So
wouldn't leave us.
recently, the last couple weeks, I have seen that started happening.
It's been that was months ago.
Months ago. And
That's
then
been
they
happening
in front
since
of them in
June.
the
That's been
car.
happening
What
since
about
June.
Charleston? When
I have videos of it all.
Drove the car through the BLM protest. Remember that, Charleston? And then Trump came out and said pretty much what you keep saying, that there's bad people on both sides, and refused to address the fact that it's the Patriots or whatever that are committing these acts of violence.
But that's your point of view. Just like you're saying that this whole group isn't the violent people in it. That's what Trump was avoiding. The video shows all the Nazis and all the people screaming anti-Semitic things that unite the right. But there were dozens and dozens of groups. There were thousands and thousands of people there, and a few of them were crazy Nazi LARPers. A lot of them were just against things that they believed, against the deterioration of what they thought is their patriotic country values going away, and that's what he was doing. He's not trying, just like you're trying to get us not to lump all the people in your group as being Michael Reinholz. Trump was not trying to paint, let all the hundreds, or I don't know how many people were there. I assume there was tens and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people there. But he was trying to get not get it caught up in the divisive comments and labeling them all as the worst actors.
But I feel like even that you can't say, because like Trump just recently, what did he just said? What in his tweet, Antifa scum? Like, you know, just like what you just said, where you want people to not dehumanize each other, and you talked about labeling each other as vermin and shit like that. Trump dog whistles all day long saying shit like, it's not even a dog whistle at that point, it's Antifa scum. And then okay, on that note though, Trump will say things like Antifa scum, and what is it supposed to do? Not radicalize his base against Antifa, you know, and which we've already just determined has been now a monolith for anybody that protests on the BLM side.
Are there groups of people that actually take on the name themselves, Antifa, that are not destructive and violent?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well, you haven't been out here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have been out here.
I mean, you haven't been out here like as much as we have.
Well, the one that comes to mind is Rose City Antifa, and they do most of the. Well, I'm not going to say, but they. I don't know. But yeah, I don't even know
Rose
if
City
they're out here.
Antifa is known for putting out calls for violence and direct actions with violence.
But
What is
they're not
violence?
necessarily violent.
Hurting
They're
people.
just.
Who are they hurting?
People.
Okay.
Okay, you keep saying Antifa is hurting people. When does it happen? I haven't seen a group of Antifa just going and hurting a group of people for no reason. I haven't seen that happen one time.
What about the battle that me and you were at, and Antifa was throwing things at?
They both were. I was walking around on both sides the whole damn time. They both were.
Was the Patriot side throwing piss and shit?
I had a water ball thrown at me.
Patriot side pulled out guns.
Yeah, the Patriot side had guns and they were throwing back rocks and whatever else they had. They didn't cut bear mace.
And I have videos
Yeah.
of someone on the Patriot side throwing a pipe bomb into the park.
And most
So-
of the protests
That
and
pipe bomb
direct
story where
actions
that
don't
lone
result in
guy
violence.
came in.
Most of them don't.
That
At
was
the park?
over at the sheriff's department. And
No, that day, the August 22nd, I have a video of one getting thrown from, like, you know how the steps come down, there's a sidewalk in front of the JC? You can see it getting thrown over the crowd and then explode probably 15 feet from me, probably close to where that guy is in the park where the BLM side was.
You guys see how we're
Proud
saying
Boys
the
and
same
Patriots
things?
on that whole day were causing almost all the Jared, and Adam were standing in a single file line just filming stuff, and a Proud Boy came up to us this far away and bear maced us all across the face for no reason. We're just standing there filming. And like the whole night, and I was even running around on both sides, salining and washing people's eyes out, Proud Boys and people on the other side, because I was just there to just watch over and see what's happening and make sure people were fine. And we were still getting fucked up from both sides, and almost all the aggression was coming from that side. That's why it got to that point. Well, I was down there for the majority of the time, and was sitting on the Patriot side for the majority of the time up on the steps. That's where you found me at, and I was
there
watching
with you,
them
man.
underneath me the whole
It's a
time.
question of perception, because from my perception, the antifa are the instigators.
But your only claim for that was they had piss and shit. Okay, that means they're smarter for bringing piss and shit. The Patriots were throwing other shit. Like you know what I mean? Like if the Patriots would have been, hey, let's shit in some bottles, then they would have been doing it. If they had piss and shit bottles, they would have been throwing it. It doesn't. You don't think so?
No.
Okay, well I do think so. I've seen
brought
many of
frozen
them, and I know
Gatorade
many of them,
bottles
and
to them.
I'm sure most of them, given the chance, would shit in their hands and throw it at them if they needed to. And one thing, because I'm reading your chat,
One side does do that, and the other side doesn't do that. So we can what if all day long, but the fact is that one side
okay,
does that,
okay.
the
How
other
about this then? That most of the Antifa throws piss and shit, but most of the ammunition that was being shot by you guys was like frozen paintballs and shit, and you guys were actually pulling weapons out and marbles. You guys were shooting marbles at people. They were throwing death, like
I don't
all
think
sorts
anybody
of
was
shit.
throwing marbles, but I do know. I
No,
do
they
know-
no, they were.
I do know,
They were.
I do know
No,
they
their
brought-
paintball guns were full of them. I was
do know
watching
they
them.
had frozen paintballs.
Like I told you, you found me on those steps. I was sitting on the steps watching them the whole time. They were all loading all their guns in front of me, talking about what the hell
I
they
was
were
getting
doing.
golf balls thrown at me from the Antifa side. I'm saying if there
I
are,
mean, we
if
can
there
talk.
are acts-
We can
if
keep
there
talking
are
about.
bad acts on either side. I don't care. I don't want.
I know, but
I
the-
stopped somebody. You can watch in my stream that day. Antifa threw a chunk of a brick at our side. I picked it up and I was trying to show somebody that they're throwing bricks at us. Somebody grabbed it out of my hand thinking I was giving them ammunition, and they started to throw it back, and me and another guy grabbed it from them, and I got rid of it. I'm against that. I don't care who's doing it. I'm against that.
Okay, well that's great, but what you're saying is like you're trying to justify the fact that Antifa is more violent because of some of the stuff that they throw, and like compared to whatever it is that you guys do. Out at the protests in Vancouver, you guys just run up and slash their tires and box people in and didn't let people leave that were trying to leave.
I'm not part of that.
But you keep saying we. You keep saying we. You keep saying we were in.
So in that event, yes, I was on that side of it. So.
Okay, so do you just pick and choose when you're not a part of them then?
But I'm honestly, I'm not part of any organization.
But you keep saying we.
They allow me to go in those groups without me getting assaulted or attacked or getting run out.
Yeah, so did I. I was doing that for months, and then I got so you asked me that night, is it great being able to go on both sides? I said yes, it is. Now I can't even go on your side because you guys think I'm a fucking terrorist. So
I've stood up for streamers. I stood up for John Hacker at the Delta Park event. I stood up for that little Brandon guy at a flag wave out in Oregon City one time. I'm against that, man. I'm for free speech. As long as they're not provocative, like trying to disrupt things and trying to hurt people.
yeah, but your audience and a lot of like because I've been watching you for a long time.
I don't choose my audience.
I know, but a lot of like what it feels like. You walk through the Patriot side. Hey, Villain Phoenix, everyone's congratulating you. Awesome every single time. That's great. That's awesome. It was the same way for me too a while ago, but I can't do the same shit, and it's just like I don't know. But I have one other thing I was going to say, because we're watching your thing. Your viewers keep saying I'm lying about having all this evidence. I'm like, DM me. I'll give it all to you. You can watch it on your stream. You can show everybody that just keeps calling me a liar that I'm not lying. I literally have it all. It's all safe.
Let me
It's all
ask you this
archived.
one point. Have any of the protest events on the Patriot side turned into riots or destroying businesses?
On the Patriot side?
Yes.
Depends on your definition of a
well,
riot.
Technically,
first of all.
the protest in D.C. 2 weeks ago, that was a
There you go.
That was
Yeah, that's a great
protest in
example.
DC, the Patriot protest in
great
DC.
example.
and that was
I
declared.
mean, maybe not the
that was
ones,
declared
not the
a
ones
riot.
here, but that was declared a riot, and that was their event. They were going around beating the shit out of people, jumping the shit out of people.
When the Patriots have events, do they go around initiating attacks on people?
In Eugene and Springfield,
destroying
yep.
businesses?
Yes.
Yep,
about every-
not
also-
businesses. Yeah.
How about every cop riot that's ever happened?
Maybe not businesses because that's their ploy. That's what they get to use as BLM is destroying businesses.
No, it's not
So
a
that gives
ploy.
no.
It's
Listen,
the truth.
it is
BLM
it's not.
destroying businesses,
I know.
The Patriot side is not. It's not a ploy. That's just the truth of the situation.
Jumping people.
Yeah, but they're jumping people and they're still doing all this. Like they're saying we're terrorists, but their justification for like beating the shit out of us is just because of like some group, some of us like just like I told you, half of them want me dead. Like they want to kill me. I've never broken shit. You watch my streams from earlier. I used to get pissed when, especially in my town, I was pissed off when people were breaking shit. I've never been about it, but they generalize all of us. And yes, if a big group of patriots were about to show up now, guess what? We would all probably get chased out and fucked with, and we'd get the shit kicked out of us. And for sitting here doing nothing the whole time, it's because we get generalized in this big group because we're out here a part of the movement. And yes, it's like it's over time. I've seen an escalation of like the BLM side and people breaking stuff, but I've seen way more of an escalation and aggression on the Patriot side. Because like I told you, I used to be welcome and all their shit. They used to Trey, what's up, and now I can't like do you think some of the antifa?
The
No, I'm not.
camps,
Hold
the
on.
camps are divided. They're
But
getting
do
more and more
you
divided.
do you think that like a lot of like the antifa or whatever, like do you think a lot of the times they don't want me down there filming? No, but they don't knock my phone on a hand, might break my shit, try to jump
Didn't
me,
you,
fuck me up.
Didn't you get around the time that I was filming on Twitch and in the riots downtown? Didn't you get your phone taken or knocked out of your hand and kind of got roughed up a little bit?
By Patriots. Every time it's been by anybody, it's been by Patriots. No, it's always been by Patriots. They've tried to jump me, they've tried to take my shit, they've knocked my phone out of my gimbal, they threatened me. It's always by Patriots. And it's because like I said, like don't you think like a lot of maybe some of the hardcore Antifa people whatever want to do the same shit? No, but it's like the aggression and like the force and like the justification, like I said, for them to be able to act more violent is just because they think that we're doing all this bad shit and it's stupid.
Also, patriots don't have any reason to riot against a system that has been built to lift them up. You know, like why would they riot if like they are existing in this system?
I consider myself a patriot, and I'm very, very against the growing centralization of the government in America. Very much so.
Yeah, but you also just said earlier that you're against the dehumanization of people, right? Black and brown people have been dehumanized since the beginning of our country, and you've also said that systemic racism doesn't exist. So
I don't believe systemic racism exists. Name one.
That's
one
easy
law,
to say as a white man.
Name one law on the books.
That's really
Name
easy
one
to
It's
law on the
really
books.
easy to say that as a white man, though. Do you understand that?
If it's systemic racism, there has to be a law on the books. Name one.
Go talk to like families that grow up that like black families and kids that have to have talks. Like I never had to have the talk with my parents because me and my mom are the only black people in my family, and I don't know any of my black family. So I didn't grow up like with police brutality. I didn't grow up in the hood. I grew up like privileged pretty much. I grew up in a white ass city, but the families that grew up in those areas where there's actual police brutality or profiling against people who have dark skin, those parents have to have talked to their kids at super young ages about going out in public and going out to and being pulled over by the police and going to school. Kids are gonna laugh at you, kids are gonna make fun of you because you're black. They did that to me all growing up in school, but I didn't have enough black people around me to remind me that I'm black and that wasn't okay. So I was like, whatever. But I got older and I realized, hey, that's fucked up. But there's so many families and young kids in these areas where systemic racism is a fucking thing that they have to have these conversations and tell them, if you're gonna go out in public and a cop pulls you over, you need to have your hands up. You don't put because that shit happens because people do get killed by the police for that
We're taught
stuff.
the same thing.
Huh?
We're taught the same thing. To not hide your hand. Don't
no,
reach
it's
for
not.
things.
So around the country, white kids are all getting the same exact talks that black families are having to explain to their children. You think it's just everyone's treated just fairly, just like, of course every parent is going to tell their child, hey, if you get pulled over, don't have your fucking hands in your pockets. But parents are afraid, and they have to sit their child down and worry that if they do get pulled over, they are going to die, or if people see them out in public, they're going to chase them down and harass them. I get called out by people driving by all the time, calling me the N-word and blaring out shit all the time, and I'm not even that dark. Imagine being in places and like parts of the country where it's really bad and people are actually like being pulled away and beaten and stuff for that type of shit. It's not the same at all. You can go walk around white in neighborhoods and be just fucking fine. But if you go in black,
there are plenty of neighborhoods that white people cannot walk around in the country.
but compared to black, like honestly, like
30 years ago.
Systemic racism.
Name one.
So
Name
redlining.
Claim.
Redlining.
Alright,
One. There's one. Redlining.
Redlining is not on the books. It's an old thing.
It's an old thing. It's an old thing. Jim Crow laws, segregation just
That's
ended.
an old thing. Name
Yeah.
one. If it's,
I'm
if
still
today,
going.
If the country
Don't
is
cut me off. Don't cut me
You
off.
just said it was on the books. You made a claim.
Yeah.
Follow that. Prove it.
Okay, let me go on. Jim Crow ended 1954 segregation. So those people in those poor communities, black communities who are segregated, they had to go to the black schools, whatever, fucking busing and shit. They didn't get lifted out of their poverty by the government. They had to fend for themselves, and they're still pulling themselves up to get onto the level that white people are. Like, they are still systemically oppressed because there's been no reparations. Because they're just expected to, like, you know, like, do better by themselves with no fucking support. Like, what
Bootstraps, right?
Yeah,
Pull them up by the bootstraps.
I believe that there are different struggles that are unique to certain communities.
I know, but it'll
and
take
that-
like them
and that
hundreds of
society
years
could-
to pull them
could-
up
could
by their
come together and
bootstraps
help
by
those unique
themselves.
struggles. But I want to go back to the point you made. You said systemic racism is on the books.
Yeah, Jim Crow. It just ended
Jim
50,
Crow did not
70
just
years
end that
ago.
ended decades ago. You said it's on the books now. You're claiming that the United States government is systemically racist now. You said it's on the books.
Yeah, that's
Why did
it.
you say that?
Because they haven't had reparations. They haven't had anything to elevate themselves to the point where
That's
white
not
people
what you
are.
claimed. You said that you said it's on the books. Let's hear it.
Okay, I'm wrong then.
There was an
Okay.
interview that came out in Portland like a week ago. It's called Tipping Point, and they interviewed one of the police officers from Portland, and she said, yes, there actually is systemic racism. Like a police officer from this city said that systemic racism is a fucking thing. And I don't want to hurt your feelings. I know you think whatever, like, but if you don't think systemic racism is a thing, and you're just set on your beliefs and what you believe and whatever, then you need to go do some more fucking research because you're stupid. Like it's
I could
dumb.
say the same thing to you, and we could just
About
say,
what then?
I'm
About
right,
what do
you're
I need to
right,
do? What do
you're
I
right,
need to
I'm
do
right,
research
I'm
about
right.
then?
We
What do
could
I didn't say I'm right. I just said go do research because there's police officers that even say it's right.
Is that if conversation goes to that level, it just breaks down to I'm right, no, I'm right, no, I'm right.
No,
I'm
I'm
right.
telling you to do because you say there's not.
You're making a claim. I'm willing to listen to your claim. I do not.
But I'm
believe
giving
that-
you evidence that like you're saying, oh no, systemic racism. As a white person, you're like, no, systemic racism is a thing. There's certain neighborhoods white people can't go in. Yeah, but it's way fucking worse for black people. If you don't think that's true,
That's a
then you're
claim.
then it's
I
not a
don't- I
claim.
don't
It's
think that-
facts.
I don't think it is worse for different races.
Then
in
you're
America.
then you're fucking dumb then. Like
We
sorry.
have equal opportunities in America.
Here's
Things keep getting better and better. You know,
Here's
the thing, though.
That we got rid of Jim Crow laws.
Yeah,
You
but there's
mentioned
no level
redlining. We
footing.
got rid of redlining. We used to have slavery. Before we had slavery, most nations just slaughtered the other tribe. Slavery was better than slaughtering the other nation. Not having slavery is better than slavery.
Slavery's
Jim Crow is better than slavery. Not having Jim Crow is better than Jim Crow. Societies keep getting better and better and better and better. The whole world used to be a disgusting, dirty place by today's standards, but things get better and better and better.
It's getting better, but those people after Jim Crow, they're just left to fend for themselves and live in their poor communities that are oppressed by the cops.
I'd
Like,
say we're in
they're
the
not
worst
gonna-
spot we can get right now in this point in history.
I mean,
Like
So-
things are getting better.
listen to what
Villain.
black people have to say. Like them growing up. Was it
Yeah.
harder for them growing up? I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Because they've dealt with, racism built into the system. Doesn't mean that there's wrong.
Harder than what?
There's laws saying that black people can't.
Okay,
do
here's an
certain things.
example.
Hold on a
Here's
second.
an example. My mom.
It's harder for them growing up. Harder than what?
Harder than you, a white man growing up in the U.S.
How do you know what my childhood was like? What it was like for me to grow up? How
Well,
can you say anybody's childhood was better or worse than mine? You don't know
I don't
anything
know,
about
like
my
you
childhood.
personally. I don't even know you. But in general, there's a lot of racism built into the system. It's harder for black and brown people to get jobs in certain areas because people are racist. Because that's, maybe how they were raised.
Yeah, there are races. There's black races, there's white races. If you go to Hawaii, you'll be blown away by the races between the different Asian groups there. It makes any racism in America look pale. Like they treat each other like they're not human. The Vietnamese and the Koreans in Hawaii, they don't treat each other like they're human. It's like
Yeah, but we're
200
talking
years
about
ago.
It's not as bad
America.
here, it's okay. So like since in other places it's not as bad, it's just okay here. Like,
No,
oh, it's not as bad
I'm
here,
not
so
making
it's
that-
fine.
I'm not making that claim.
You shouldn't need to worry about it. It's not as bad.
I'm saying that we should compare our situation with what was bad before, what was worse before, rather than comparing ourselves to a possible future utopia.
That's not what we're not marching and talking about. Hey, someone's gonna die in a week. Fuck this. No, we're talking and marching about the people that have died and have been suffering through this shit. Like that doesn't make it.
Dude, you're not dumb. Like that's what strikes me so much about you is that you're really not stupid. Like, and the fact that you don't get this yet, it has to be a willful thing. Like, how do you not understand this yet? Especially when you have legitimate black people that have had this experience growing up, and they're telling you that this is what it is. I mean, like, you should have the same ability as me to be like, I'm white, I might not know everything that they've gone through, and they're trying desperately to tell us. And you're just gonna choose to say, no, they're wrong? Like,
you say I don't watch your guys' streams as often.
That real quick. A lot of people assume when a difference of agreements comes in that there's a lack of education, a lack of information, or a lack of intelligence.
Definitely.
And that perception gets thrown into a wrench when you get somebody that has a completely opposite view of you, but is obviously not stupid. I follow a lot of intellectuals. I follow intellectuals that believe completely opposite of me, just so I can not find myself in an echo chamber. And I find the same thing. I find I find that intelligence fails eventually. On all the great questions in life, you'll find professors that have spent their entire lives on both sides of the issues. And it's not intelligence is great, and it's a great tool, but ultimately the path to truth is not by rationality alone.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
So I'm
I
saying
can't really disagree with
we
that.
come
Sure.
to a different point of view, rather than just getting stuck in this point of view where I'm right, you're wrong, I'm right, you're wrong. That's not helpful.
Okay.
That's why I'm out here
But then why
talking
are
with
we-
you guys.
We're
That's
not
why I'm
trying to,
trying to
like-
have
Find this
dialogue with you guys.
conversation.
We're not trying
talking
to
to
flash
you.
our degrees with you or anything like that.
Especially Ian, most of the hostility I feel is coming from you, and you seem to be upset that I just don't agree with you.
Not really.
It doesn't matter.
No,
It's not that you don't
it's not
agree,
that you
it's
don't
not-
agree.
Political
It's
thing.
that
Racism
it's
is
that
not
there's
even
all this
thing.
information available, and you're not dumb. Like you should be able to find the same information
But
that we
the
all
thing
have.
is, Ian, I can say the same thing to you.
Okay, but for
But
example,
everything you've been coming and talking-
here I'll give you a perfect example. Okay, you just said you're very adamant that systemic racism doesn't exist. My partner is in college for social work, right? It is taught in their textbooks that systemic racism is something that you're going to have to deal with because it exists.
I believe.
These
that-
are people going for the graduate degrees.
I
You know what I'm
believe
saying?
that the Western academies, the humanities, are corrupt and no longer are seeking truth. They're seeking to indoctrinate into a worldview. I think that's
For social work or for all social workers?
That's a clear tenet of the Marxist theory. It's a clear plan that long marched through the institutions to take over the institutions and indoctrinate people rather than educating them, to make the masses into a non-thinking group to where they just obey rather than critically think about things.
So-
I look at those things that are taught in those schools, I find them to be nonsense.
In what schools?
In colleges, in universities, the books they put out, the theories they put out, the papers they put out. Have you seen the studies where if you're going to appeal to authority, which is what you're doing, the teachers, the professors at these schools are teaching these ideas, so they must be good. You have to also look at things like look at Brett Weinstein, the crew that rolls around in his crowd. They did a fake peer review study. They put out these nonsense studies. Academic studies, and they sent them in for peer review, and they got passed. I cannot cite that to you right now. I cannot say the topics in there right now. I have looked into it, but it shows that there is some lunacy going on in the academy today, to where it's not necessarily critically thinking in a harsh search for truth. It's an attempt to control minds and to mold minds and to indoctrinate rather than to
When they're
educate.
teaching us people's theories, those are just theories. I mean, we learn so many different theories in psychology. Doesn't mean that I'm going to believe those theories. It's just those theories are taught.
Words have many different meanings. When I use the word theory there, I'm talking about let's say within gender studies, there is an overarching theory that explains that set of thinking, that worldview, and that's what I'm talking about there. I'm not talking about a list of hypotheses. That's the wrong word. but I'm talking about an overarching meta narrative that's being taught within those disciplines.
So what are the certain topics that you don't agree with, or the certain viewpoints that you don't agree with that they're teaching in schools?
So ultimately, we can go point by point, but I'll just go to the overarching thing that I believe. I believe that there's two routes throughout the human life. You can conform yourself and your desires to the natural world, to the truth around you, or you can try to conform the truth around you to your desires. And so I think things that like the idea that gender is not set or fixed. I think that's not scientifically true. That's a belief system that doesn't match up with science.
Do you think that they teach that in school though?
Yes, they do. Especially
I don't
in gender
feel that.
studies.
I don't feel that at all. I mean, there are certain courses that are taught on gender studies, but growing up, I was always taught that you know, this person's a boy, this person's a girl, and that's how they're labeled.
And that is flipped within the last decade.
I mean, there are courses that teach differently, but that's not like the main focus at school. Is to teach gender fluidity.
Scotland just passed a hate crime law, I believe last week, and it is now illegal to misgender somebody in Scotland.
Good.
So if I disagree. I think it's controlled speech, and it's an attack on freedom.
Well, I think
it is now illegal in Scotland for a man that's
6'4"
that's wearing lipstick and demanding to be called she. If somebody doesn't believe in that and they call him he when they're referring to him, they actually will face criminal charges. So, and they've also had the same thing that passed in Canada. They're trying to pass those laws in California right now. They're trying to pass those laws around the world. And
It's
so
hate speech.
the reason why I'm giving those little data points there is because that worldview, that gender is not set, is the common idea that's being pushed on the masses right now.
Well, I personally think that anybody should be able to do whatever the fuck they want.
I agree.
And it's not up to me to judge them or tell them that they can't be whoever they want to be.
I agree. And just like
But
the individual has the right to act the way they are, the other
have come
person has the right to act the
believe
way
that.
they want to as well. So you can't demand that they speak the way that it's abiding by your viewpoint. They have to have freedom themselves as well. I think that everybody, my foundational
like
belief
some shit
system
that a Nazi
is
would
that
say.
everybody should be able to live the life however they want.
I should be able to
until
call
they
that
are a
person
direct
the
harm to
N-word
somebody
is
else.
what you're saying.
What?
You're saying that you can just call people the N-word all you want.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's a shitty thing to do, but it's not actually a direct harm to somebody.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think it's horrible.
then why do you say
Generational
that
trauma.
people should be able to call people, like, if they're clearly identifying as a female and you call them a man? Like, what is your argument here?
I'm saying,
Like, why should you be able to do that? Maybe you just shouldn't.
I think that once we get the government involved in policing morality, like it should not be a crime to be an asshole. Once you get the government telling people what morality they can and cannot have, that's a very dangerous place. And that
yeah, but
tramples
that's
on
a
freedom.
big jump from I don't believe that that people's genders can be assigned wrong at birth to just call them
So
a
what
bully.
I'm saying is that anybody should be able to express themselves however they want, but another person, if I were to see a clearly female-bodied person dressing like a man and wanting to be treated like a man, I should not be forced to refer to them as a man. If I
But
don't
would
believe
you
that be
refer to
true.
them as a man because they wanted to be?
Probably not. I don't think it's healthy. I think it's, in my view, I think that's
Healthy for who? Healthy for who?
In my view,
Healthy
I think,
for who?
I think, in my view, I think that that's similar to agreeing with an anorexic person. Like, yeah, you are fat.
No,
you
it's
should
not.
stop eating.
No, it's not because
But that's your
an
point of view.
no.
I just said that's. You can't tell me what my point of view is. That's my point of view. I
Okay,
think
that's like saying somebody who's like just eating regular food versus someone who's eating Clorox bleaches. They should be able to do whatever. That's not the same thing. Somebody who wants to identify as someone that's a female that wants to identify as a man because that makes them feel more confident and it makes them feel more like a person, like they are. Then for you to say no, I'm not going to do it because I feel like that's just like that's stupid. That who does you said that's bad. Like who does that make feel? Who does that make feel better? Does that make you feel better knowing that you made that person feel more like shit, or does like how does that work? So say I'm like, hey, I'm a female, and you're like, no, you're not. You're a male. That's gonna make me feel like shit because I
wouldn't
identify
say
as
that to
that.
you.
But you just said that you wouldn't. What if I wanted to identify as me
Fine.
as that?
Go for it. You
No,
don't get
no.
to-
I said, what if I want you to identify me as that? You
You
just
don't
said
get to
you
make me
wouldn't.
do that.
Okay, so does it? I know, but I'm asking you. Does that's just respect though? Like, does that not make you so?
I don't think it's respect. I don't think so. I think that's a harmful path through life. I don't think it's healthy. I think it leads people to
So you
despair.
don't think it's healthy to make another person feel more comfortable as for what they want to identify as?
I think that sometimes things look comfortable and kind on the surface, but in the long run, they're actually detrimental and harmful.
Weren't you going by they for a while?
Never.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Never.
No? Okay, never mind.
Okay, well, let's just put it this way, like, the way that people dress, okay? Like, like the way you look right now. People say you're Antifa instead of a patriot. So how would that make you feel?
I don't care. I made my choice to dress this way. I dress to fit into certain
But
situations.
no, I'm just saying, how does that make you feel if people were sitting here calling you Antifa right now?
I don't really care too much. Sometimes when I have followers, all of a sudden like go, oh, he's been Antifa all along. It makes me a little angry. Not like my feelings are hurt, but I'm just like, where did you get this information? It's nonsense.
So that's great that you can like be like, oh no, I'm not Antifa, I feel good about it. But if you're like choosing to like not identify somebody as something that makes them feel more comfortable because you think it's unhealthy and it's like not a good thing for them, that just makes you a fucking asshole. That doesn't make you like anything other than like.
But that's the thing. I don't believe that. We have a differing point of view on that. And
Okay, well, then I'm sorry that you don't believe that you're an asshole.
Do you think the government should force
like,
me to? Do you think
like that's like me killing people and then saying you're a murderer? Oh,
So,
I'm sorry, I don't believe I'm a murderer. I don't believe it. I just like killing people.
Are you speaking in hyperbole to make a point? Are you comparing?
What's your level of it? No, I'm not. But like I'm just using references. Like you say, that's sorry, I don't feel that way. Then that's fine. If someone come up to me and they're calling me the N-word and being an asshole, you're an asshole. And that's like if you were doing that and then you go, oh, I don't believe I'm that way. No, you're a fucking asshole. That you're delusional. That doesn't make sense. Like at all.
I also think that people should be able to I believe someone calling someone an N-word, that's disgusting. It's degenerate, base thinking. But I think that they should be allowed to say that. That the government shouldn't stop it. It should be socially. Like people should ostracize them. Like we're not going to hang around you because.
So you think people should be allowed to just be hateful like that?
I do. So I also think. Hold on, man. We got a line going on here. I also think that sometimes when hate ruminates inside someone's head and they have to keep it silent, it ferments. But sometimes, like I'm sure you've experienced in your life, you have this thing going through your head and then you said it out loud in front of a group and like you realize how disgusting it was or how wrong or how stupid it was. I think that's one of the benefits of free speech is to where when you do have a hateful thing and you express it, sometimes it's revealed to yourself. And then sometimes it'll be revealed from the people around you. Like you say something and everybody rejects you for it.
So like the freedom of speech thing, when people come down to the Justice Center and wave their flags, you know why Antifa shows up, right? Because we're coming here to ostracize the Nazis out of the city.
Exactly. Yeah, because you guys don't believe in free speech.
No, because we don't believe what they're saying is, we don't like what they're saying. Like they're saying the N-word. We want them to be ostracized.
Yeah, they're not saying the N-word down there. There might be.
No, but it's the same. It's the exact same thing.
If the N-word was said in those groups, most everybody in those groups would
Some of them have said it before.
But that's why
I've heard them say it. There's video footage of the day you got arrested of one of them yelling it through the crowd, and I remember watching it because it was literally just minutes after you were arrested.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it because someone had yelled cracker, and someone's like, "Oh, you're racist," and then from the back of your guys' side, you heard the N-word on every single stream that was down there.
Yeah.
Mason's
most
not
of the people
down
that
here,
I interact with on there would be appalled by that, and they would say something, and they'd.
but not a single person said anything. Like
yeah, but so. I'm not arguing this. I'm not arguing it was right, but you're saying someone shouted cracker from the other side, and then so they are like, okay, if you're going to slander us, and then we're just going to treat you the same way you're treating us. I don't think those are on the same level. I think they're both racial slurs, but one has more impact than the other. But I assume that the person was like trying to draw attention to like if we're going to have a standard of behavior, that it needs to be treated equally across both sides. I still don't think that they should have shouted that. I don't like that word, and I don't like the fact that the world, many different races, up until like 200 years ago, every nation in the world did not think the other nations were human for the most part. This is the society we have today is so rare in the history of humankind. The fact that we can there's several different races here, probably several of us are mixed race. The fact that we can have a conversation without just hating each other and fighting, that's rare in the human history.
I'm basically just saying, like, when there's a flag wave and Antifa shows up, It's to let those people know they're not wanted.
Yeah, it's because you don't believe in free speech. You say that
No,
their speech.
no.
You
But
say
they're
that,
there to protest the activists on the Black Lives Matter, whatever you want to call them,
They're
side.
down there
Yeah, they're just they're just there protesting, waving flags. They're not over there trying
And
to
then
stop them.
and then the protesters are
Until the protest came into town.
Yeah,
Patriots were never doing
people all
anything.
across the country are tired of seeing the riots. They're tired
It's
of
not
it.
against free speech
People don't
for
feel safe.
What?
they feel safe.
Okay, but it's also a matter of the company that you keep. Okay, because you will see white supremacists all through the patriot groups. Okay, you can say that you don't know a lot of them.
Let me you see white supremacists all through the patriot groups.
I
do not.
I've been to many
I've
different
met
cities.
Many of those people, and that's not something that is a thread that goes through those. There may be factions and individuals that hold white supremacist views, but you're saying you see that all through. No, you, Ian, you see that. I
think
not see
everyone
that.
here sees it.
I got a question. So, what does the OK sign mean?
The OK sign was this. Remember when that used to be a game before all this stupid stuff? Like white guys mostly would play this game, and then like they'd hold that, and then you looked at it, they look at it, and then you're like, oh, I got you. It was a stupid bro game.
But it has now been changed to mean white power.
No,
Because it's a WP.
For some people, it has.
It's
Yes,
a
it has.
WP.
Maybe you don't believe it.
A lot of
but
people.
A
Yes,
lot of
it
people
has.
do.
When people
Every
do
rally,
that,
everyone goes
when
like,
you
this
see all
is
the white people
power.
doing that in the pictures now, they're trolling you guys.
Yeah, I've
because
heard
it was
that
a
talking
stupid
point.
No,
game.
it's not. No, it means
white
white
power.
power.
It means white power.
I literally watch your streams and other people's streams at those events. I see people do this, and I hear people go, "White power." Fuck Antifa.
They're trolling the people that thought that.
No, because
Oh,
most of the
yeah,
time,
that's not- it's
no,
not-
it's not.
like
Because
saying-
most
that's
of the,
like saying-
most
You
of
guys
the-
remember
it's
the
been a
first
thing
time
for a
that
long
came up
time. It's been a thing
Right,
for
but
a
that's
really
what
Do you
long
remember
time.
the first time that came up in the
That's
media?
what the KKK
There,
do. Like,
there was
literally.
I believe it
know
was
it was a joke
I was
for
believe
like
it,
10 minutes.
it was a news stream, and I believe it was a Navy like conference room or something where like a headquarters where they have all the computers or whatever. And there was a guy in the background just working on his computer, and he put it there, and it came to be a big old thing. And he was just doing his stupid bro game with his buddies and trying to get on the camera, doing like, I gotcha. Yeah, you looked.
Yeah, but you're trying to say, oh, it's all fun and games. No, it's fucking not.
Maybe
Like,
it was in the beginning. Maybe it was in the beginning. But it has evolved now. It is no longer a joke. They believe it. They really do.
Fucking power. You know how many times I've had this thrown at me just being around my city, like around all the white people? No, you know how many? I lived in my city for 3-4 years plus, walking around the streets, everything. Nobody said shit to me. Nobody honking at me. Nobody doing stupid shit. Now people are driving by me doing this shit. White power.
There's always going to be a faction of society. They're assholes and jerks and just ignorant. But the majority of people that are doing that are doing control the people that think it's some kind of secret code.
Why
That's
did
a
you-
dog whistle?
Why did you tweet blood and soil recently?
Blood and soil, because I think that it's kind of like the idea that you guys that you want community policing. I don't think that people should be able to have influence over a land that they do not toil and fight for. I don't think that like some foreign power or I don't think somebody in New York should own the property that I live on. I think that people, and that's what that idea actually goes back to. A lot of racist people will use it like it's some kind of racist thing, but what it actually goes back to is that people should have to live, work on, and die for the land that they own and they till. You shouldn't have some foreign power owning your house or some person that doesn't ever come in your neighborhood. I don't think that we should have all our corporations draining the monies out of communities and going to New York City. That's what blood and soil is. You should have to be a part of the community that you're profiting from. You should live in and die on and fight for the land that you occupy.
I got a couple questions for you. What's your level of education?
I have some college.
Some college?
Most of my education is autodidactic.
Okay. What's your definition of critical thinking?
Critical thinking is the fact that you can. I think that I'd go for the sign of true intelligence is to be able to entertain two opposing ideas without having to be compelled to choose one impulsively. I think that critical thinking is to take in a bunch of data and evaluate it without being impulsively led to fit it into your worldview.
Okay. And then, all right. So I want to ask you about the Kyle Rittenhouse situation.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Like, what are your thoughts on?
I think I think that he was there being a good Samaritan that day. He spent most of the day cleaning graffiti off of buildings. and then he was there to prevent another car lot from getting torched like they had the night before, the 2 days before. I'm not sure. There were plenty of people threatening to kill him. There was a misunderstanding. There was one guy that looked like another guy that kind of looked like Kyle, so that I can't remember that guy's name. The first guy that got killed, he had been targeting another guy that looked like Kyle earlier, and I think that he was following Kyle. But anyways, the shot rang out, and Kyle turns around and shoots. I think if anything was questionable, maybe that was questionable, but I look at it and I think that he had a direct threat on him, and he defended himself. Then he starts running towards the police station. He's shouting, "I'm going towards the police station," and then a mob starts chasing him and surrounding him, and they tried to kill him. The medic guy, his buddy flat out said that the guy that got shot in the arm, that he said he wished he would have killed Kyle. That's what they were trying to put him down.
So do you think what like Kyle did that day was justified? Like you support his actions?
I think it was an act of self-defense. Yes.
Like all of it?
Yes.
All right.
If it was self-defense,
What
why
about
didn't he
him,
shoot
like,
him in the
you
feet?
know, being
Why not?
underage to, have that gun?
I think if you look at his control over that gun while a mob is trying to attack him, it was amazing, and he's obviously had much training. I think I'm a strong Second Amendment advocate. I think that
But
the word
he
shall
broke
not.
the Second
I think
Amendment
that I
by
think the
being
words shall
lying
not be
or-
infringed are
So
clear
you support the
and
Second
unambiguous.
Amendment, but you're also showing support for someone that's a minor that like broke the law and like wasn't
I think
murdered.
that law is an arbitrary law that goes against the Second Amendment.
Arbitrary law. What?
So what did he bring the guns for that day? What did he bring the guns for?
To protect the car lot from
So
getting
he was
attacked
going
like
to
the
shoot
car lot.
somebody who blew up the car. That was his plan. He's
So
gonna
that's
shoot
that's
somebody.
that like.
That's his interpretation.
So what I hear from you right now is a talking point that's it's a communist talking point. I'm not accusing you of being communist, but property is not more valuable than lives.
No, I didn't say that.
But
I mean, I believe
people
that.
Well,
have
it's
the
not.
right.
It's not.
People
It's not.
have the right to protect their property.
So killing another person over their
That
property
wasn't
is
his
valid.
property.
So you support Kyle being 17, having a gun that he's not supposed to have, loaded, all that stuff he's not supposed to have, going to a completely across state lines to a different state to protect another person's car lot, going over there and killing a couple people and like critically injuring
That was
another
his
person.
plan.
You think
He
that
went
that's
over there
okay?
and
Like that should
possibly
just
kill people.
Second Amendment. Like he should be doing that. He's not even of age, but let him do it. He's going over there with his AR to protect property. So whatever, cool. Like
You
that.
don't think that could have been someone in an embarrassed situation that was of age that could have been out there doing something?
I think the age is arbitrary. He was very well trained. Shall not be infringed is what the Constitution says. As far as I'm concerned.
I think if you're going out there, to protect property and like care over property, you should have some sort of like care, like protection over people as well, and bringing out a fully automatic assault rifle to protect a parking lot against people isn't the way to do it. If I want to protect
This is
a
rhetoric.
business,
Rhetoric. Are we just supposed to let criminals just do whatever they want?
no, but
Supposed to let kids kill a bunch of people?
Yeah, you can say that it was
Something
self-defense,
called the
but he came
police
out there
that
to
could
shoot
have
people.
maybe protected the parking lot better.
Were they? Have the police been putting the riots down? Have they been protecting these businesses?
were people there like actively like doing stuff, or did Kyle just kill people because he thought people were gonna burn shit and do what happened before?
No, he did not do that. He did not just kill people because he thought something was going to happen. He went to protect a parking lot. He was spending the whole day being a good Samaritan. He was attacked and traced and threatened. His life was at risk, and he defended himself.
So when you guys let him free and he goes and does it at a school, are you going to defend him the same way?
Or he
No.
goes to another protest and
No,
does it
if he
again.
went up and shot up at school, I would not defend
it's
him.
not
I don't
any
think
different.
that's his character. I think he's a.
You don't
he's
think
got
that's
a
his
very-
character?
I think he's got a very good character from his actions and from who he is.
You're talking about Kyle?
Yeah.
Dylan thinks he's a very, very well trained and charactered young
Yeah,
man.
for a minor carrying a fucking gun.
You think you?
I wouldn't even defend somebody who was at a Black
So you
Lives
think he's
Matter
a hero?
protest who went to that side with.
Are you one of those people
trained
that think
with
he's a hero?
gun
Hell
and
yeah,
shot
he
people?
does.
I'm sorry. I was
wouldn't
having my
label
own
him a hero.
conversation.
He said that he was protecting that
I
property.
think his actions were justified. He didn't save anybody's life, so I don't think.
Was,
I
was,
would
definitely
was his
didn't.
life in
He
danger?
definitely did. His life was in danger. Many of the people
Why-
that were mobbing
why
him
was
that
his life in
flat out
danger?
said that they wanted to kill him
Why was his life in danger?
because people were trying to kill him.
Why was his life in danger?
Because people were trying
Because
to
he
kill him.
made a
Himself there.
mistake in and put himself in danger.
He put himself in that position. Kyle went across state lines with an AR and put himself in that city in that position. It's not like they went and grabbed Kyle out of his house and said, okay, now we're gonna kill Kyle, let him shoot people. He fucking went there with an assault rifle and put himself in that position.
Like, he planned that.
You're making it seem like they went and pulled him out of his house and tried to kill
Are you making
him.
the argument if nobody stood up that we should just let the rioters do
No,
whatever
but
they
that's not what was happening. That's not what that was
Should've
about.
killed people.
You
the
should have.
Carlat
Yeah,
was
you
burnt
should.
down the night before. It was what was happening. They were destroying the city.
I wouldn't even kill somebody
You
who
should've
blew
killed
up my
somebody over
car.
that.
Honestly, like I'd be like shit, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm
bring
not
my
gonna
gun
kill
and
somebody for
fucking kill
blowing
them.
up my car.
If you think that's the case, then why do we need cops if you just think kids should just go?
Yeah,
and do
so
it
why
for
in the
them?
fuck do we need the cops if the kids are 17-year-olds are just gonna run around and
They
kill
can do it.
everybody?
Right, for real.
Like what do we need cops for?
You want community police? There you
That's
go.
community policing that you're against.
Like I'll give my
If minors with
fucking AR and
guns.
let them go out there and
Yeah, I
shoot
thought
You
Get a whole
just said
bunch
that you're
of
against community
17-year-olds
policing,
with
but that's
guns.
exactly
I
what.
never said that.
Didn't you just say that?
No, I didn't say that.
You did say
You
that.
did say
You
that.
did say that.
You did
I'm
say
already on my
that.
stream. You did say that.
Rewind it. Have your people
go
check
to
it
my-
out. I
go to
didn't
my-
say I'm against community policing. I did not
Sorry,
say
you
that.
said they want community policing in a derogatory way that made it sound like you were against it, if anything. But Kyle Rittenhouse is fine. Because
he's-
what?
I
He's
thought
on that
for
side? Is
community
that
policing
what's the
because-
difference?
Maybe because
you
he's
know?
a minor.
I
That's
think
probably
his
why.
actions were justified. He acted in
Yeah,
self-defense.
he's trained. He's
Do you
trained.
think Michael Reinhold acted in self-defense
No,
when?
he hunted somebody down in the streets and shot them in cold blood.
Yeah, but in the context of the how many trucks were driving around fully armed, if someone did this at you in the dark with their weapon,
It
and
wasn't
you,
dark. That was a well-lit area.
it's right over
You
there.
could go walk over there. It's a well-lit area.
I was
There's a
there.
street-
I
there's a
was
street light
one
right
block
there.
away from where he got shot. It's a dark ass night.
We just disagree on something.
But I'm just
and that's
saying, if he
okay.
pulled out his fucking mace,
Not Michael Reinhold.
I mean,
Oh my God, Kyle Rittenhouse.
you might pull your pistol and shoot him.
I don't see that. I don't.
But
see
how
that.
is Kyle Rittenhouse different? He went to an angry mob with an AR. Like, that's stupid as fuck.
I don't think so.
But you don't think if you did that, you would get.
Come on, man.
Running into an angry situation or like an angry
By
mob
yourself,
with a
man.
gun isn't a that's not a bad idea.
He didn't run.
Running into a field of
got fined
angry
too.
chimpanzees with a banana in her hand, that's not a bad idea. It's the same fucking
What
thing.
scenario are you talking about? Who ran into an angry situation with a gun?
Kyle went there with
No,
the
he
with the
killed
gun.
him.
No, he
Fine.
went there in the middle of the day and it was peaceful and he scrubbed graffiti off the walls all day and then he went and stood at a parking lot as it started getting dark to protect the car lot.
And then he chased people around and killed them.
Yeah, Mike was
Killed
threatened
people,
and
then walked
too.
away.
So I mean,
you
the
didn't kill us,
situations
you
are
wouldn't
not
kill us.
that much different.
Yeah, if he
I'm
was
not
If
saying
anything,
that
it's
either of
cool.
them are right.
Kyle
I
got
mean,
a bag of candy.
definitely not saying.
If
Kyle's
Kyle
right.
wouldn't have been there, guess what? That parking lot still probably wouldn't have fucking got burned, and people would have been alive. Like you can't
Lives.
justify what he did. Like that's people. Your tweet, like blood over soil. That's fucking people. That's like
over soil is
no.
not what I said. I said blood and soil. It's
Well,
the,
so,
I
okay,
explained it
that's
thoroughly,
like somebody.
thoroughly.
That's like somebody. So if somebody runs out here right now and shoots you in the head because you look like antifa and they think you're gonna catch that tree on fire, that's justified. If a 17-year-old runs out here because they were talking about burning
That's
a tree,
not
or
what happened. He had a direct threat on his life, and he acted in
because
self-defense.
because he's out there with
Nobody-
an AR
he
telling
didn't-
people
he
I'm
didn't-
gonna shoot you if you
he
burn
didn't
something
run
down.
up
Yeah,
to-
I'm gonna
he
fucking
didn't
threaten
run
you
up to
too.
anybody and shoot an innocent person. That didn't happen.
Being out there with an AR with the intent of shooting people that
He
are
had
coming
no
to go
intent
do
of
stuff.
shooting people. He had intent of
If
protecting
you
a
don't
car
have an
lot.
intent of shooting someone, then come out with a fucking with a fucking pack of bubble gum then and offer it to people.
Except for the people Kyle killed.
And
There was no threat.
Reinhold was threatened with death and maced. Like that is a fact, you know. But
But they weren't
but
gonna
that's
kill him for
just
having a
forget about
rifle.
that completely.
When was he threatened with death and mace?
Right before he shot
the
the
video
guy.
of him shooting them, you can see the guy reaching across the street with mace in his hand, and then he shot him.
He pulls his mace up. He didn't do that.
He's holding it, yes, but
He's got his mace
Okay,
up.
his
Okay,
arm
so
wasn't
either way,
fully
his
extended.
arm wasn't extended, but it's the same thing. He has a weapon in his hand. There's a reason that it happened. It's not like the guy came out.
I've seen the videos. I've thoroughly looked through it. I don't come to the same conclusion as you do. I think that he was lying in wait around that corner, and once Chandler and Jay walked past him, he came back and approached them, called them out, and then he shot them once he had the mace there.
Yeah, I see. I just see him having, like, their mental state has an impact on what actions you take. He might have pictured a gun. If he pictured a gun in his head when the dude pulled up the mace, shit, that's could be construed as a threat on your life, and you'll make the decision. If he got arrested, maybe he'd get convicted for murder. Same thing with fucking Kyle. He got fucking arrested, charged with murder, in fucking jail until he got bailed out.
Kyle turned himself in.
Yeah. What's the difference between getting out? Who cares if you turn yourself in if you get out? You murdered people. You don't deserve to be out. He deserves to be in jail
didn't
for
murder
life.
anybody.
He murdered
He
people.
killed people.
He
Murder has a
literally
definition.
murdered
He
people.
murdered. No,
It talks about intent. I believe Kyle killed people in self-defense.
He
No.
killed people when he went there with
Why
intent to
did
kill
he
them.
protect the car
Called
lot
murder.
against these people who were protesting or in the streets?
No, these people that were
He
rioting
came there to possibly
and destroying
kill people for
businesses.
destroying property. That's murder. He brought
And
his
what about
gun.
the first
Okay,
guy?
okay,
the
so-
first guy that shot had his
Okay,
back
so next
turned
time I
to
see you
Kyle.
walking around Phoenix, I'm gonna feel like you have some sort of ill intent, and I'm gonna shoot you, and it's not gonna be murder. It's gonna be I just killed you, and it's gonna be justified because I felt like you were gonna do something bad. That's what he did.
I only got one
Because you were
question to
talking
end this
shit.
conversation.
Kyle actually had a direct threat on his life. People were trying to shoot him and kill him. Guns.
The first guy he shot didn't
Is
have
there a video?
Yes, there are plenty of videos.
I just got one question just to end this whole conversation. Do you think he's a hero?
Baloo already asked me that, and I said I wouldn't use that word. I think his actions were just. He acted in self-defense, but I don't think he saved anybody's life, so I wouldn't. That's not a word I would use.
Do you think he made a mistake for going out there?
No.
Would you have gone out there if that was an option for you?
I have a different route. I try to. Everybody's got a different. Not everybody's the same in life. There are soldiers. There are teachers. There are a lot of things. I try to talk to people. So the going and joining in a militia. Well, I don't think it's bad for people to go act as a soldier. That's not my role in life. I'm also not a detective. I'm not out here trying to catch you guys in your crimes, or not you guys, the rioters in their crimes.
Maybe Kyle should enlist and go kill people overseas,
But,
not people that are
so everybody's got a different role in life. That's not my role.
I just want to understand why you side with Kyle.
Because self-defense.
But you said you wouldn't act in the same way as him. Like, I
Because
just want to
not
know why
everybody's
you're
the
on
same.
his side.
No, I said everybody's got different roles.
No, but like, I
Just
want to know
like
why
I'm
you
not a
justify what
detective,
he's doing.
And I'm not out here trying to dox Antifa, and I'm not trying to get
No, I
them,
know. I know, you're fine.
in trouble for their crimes. I'm out here just trying to see things and see for myself and share what's going on and trying to create understanding with people and trying to understand things for myself. I'm not out here trying to be a detective. I'm also not out here trying to be a soldier. So that's not my role.
Okay. Would you denounce Nazis?
I denounce Nazis. Yeah, Nazis are bad.
You denounce white supremacists?
Yep, I denounce white supremacy.
Do you believe that Black Lives Matter?
I don't use those words because I don't like that organization. I think it's got so much violence and
Okay, then don't
hatred
say
in
deal
it.
on the
But
organization.
I think the individual lives of Black people and everybody on the planet are indescribably valuable. Intrinsically valuable.
Villain,
The life of every black person
we're not asking
the
you
life
to.
of every black person is intrinsically
We're
valuable.
not asking you to take your Mary Poppins. Let me pull all these special words out of my butt that I can.
I'm not gonna
Answer
say
the
those
answer
words.
the
They're not
question.
my
Okay,
words. I don't agree with that organization, but
it's
I
not
do-
the organization.
I do think that the
not the
individual lives of
okay,
black
as a
people.
as a black person, I'm asking you: does my life matter? Does a black
Yes.
life matter?
Your life matters, yes.
Okay, does his life matter? Does
Yes.
like every other black person's life matter?
Every individual black person's life matters.
Okay, then if someone says, hey,
indescribably.
okay, then if someone says, hey, do Black Lives Matter? Say yes, Black Lives Matter,
No,
but
I
the
don't use
organization
those
is
words.
corrupt.
That's not all that those words mean. That's an organization.
Then
it's
say,
it's a
then
mantra.
separate it. You just then
They're not my
separate
words.
it.
I'll use my own words. If you're not satisfied with me saying that every single black person's life matters, then I don't know what to say.
That's
I'm
not
not
what-
gonna
that's
say
not-
your
that's-
words. You're not going to tell me what words to say.
But you're not. But when we're asking you to do Black Lives Matter, you're not saying
Yeah,
yes, they
that's
do.
not what
You're saying
that's not the only thing that those words mean. It means like, are you
I'm
with
ask-
this or are you against this? Are you with
that's
this
not what I'm
organization?
asking you. I'm asking you just as a
Well,
as
then
a
why
black.
aren't you satisfied when I say that your life matters and his life matters and every single
I am.
black
I'm
person's
fine.
life
I'm
matters?
just saying when he's asking you about just.
Yeah, I
like,
don't say those words.
Like why?
You're not going to tell me what words to say.
I'm not asking you to say it. I'm just saying like why like if someone just asking you, you say do Black Lives Matter? Why do you have to go? Well, here let me explain. I won't
Because
say
I
it
don't
that
want
way
to-
because of the
I
organization.
don't
But
want to be
here,
associated. I don't want to be associated in any way with that organization.
then
or
say
that
no.
movement.
The organization is shit. Neither do
You
I.
are-
That's what I said.
Neither do
but-
I.
That's what I said.
But
That's not what you
unfortunately,
said.
you are now associated with white supremacists.
You
That's
can
just
say all you
no,
want.
no, no. It's not coming from me. I'm saying that like this is what people think. I mean, my comments have been going on
People
crazy.
can think whatever they want. That's why I think there should be freedom. People can have bad ideas. You can think wrong things about me. You can be wrong. I'm not a white supremacist. I'm not. I don't care. If
I
people
didn't
think
say
I
you were
am
a
or
white supremacist. I said that you're associated with them now.
not. Cool. I'm actually not associated. It's okay if people think I'm associated with that, but I'm not. I don't know
He is
any.
kinda-
I don't
he is
have
kinda
anybody that I associate with that I know is a white supremacist.
Well, I think my biggest problem is that you say that you wanna get down to the facts, and you don't want to make these snap judgments and everything. But every time any of us have come up with anything to tell you, you move the goalposts. You know, like the thing about systemic racism being taught in textbooks. Oh well, now that system can't be trusted, or you know, like
I gave you my honest reason. You asked me a question. I gave you my honest answer. I'd also like to point out that I am one person, and there are 9 people here. It looks like, and we
You
are
came
all.
here.
Yeah, you
guys
came
are
here, and that's
here.
not relevant because we're not attacking you. So
Yeah,
that's
no, no,
bullshit.
no.
came up to us.
What I'm saying
You
is
came
that
up we've been here for
what I'm saying
4
is that
hours.
there is a group, and you all have a collective, somewhat collective belief system. You are all on mostly on the left, as far as your worldview.
No,
and,
I'm not.
And
No.
you,
Not at all.
He is not.
No.
Not at
These
all.
two aren't at all. These
Yeah.
guys aren't. They're not with
Yeah.
us.
Neither am I.
I'm talking
Neither
about
am I.
I've seen
everybody.
your streams, and you've expressed some very strong leftist point of views.
No, I'm
So
not.
my
I'm
point
not.
is that you guys all have each other, and you're backing each other
No,
up.
no,
I'm
you're
here
not. You're not
alone,
going to keep
so-
going because you just generalized all of
You
us to
just
the left.
generalized me. Yeah,
just generalized
basically.
also-
Yeah, and it really has nothing to do with the left or anything. It's about human rights. That's
I'm
literally what it's about.
I'm the anarchist here, though. Just so everyone.
It's not about left or right. It's about human rights. And some of my mods are on the right, you know, but they believe
Some of
that
the people in my chat are on the far leftists.
but they believe that racism is a serious problem, and it is directly impacting BIPOC lives, you know, and you somehow don't.
I don't believe that.
Don't. Okay, I don't.
Or
But-
are you trying to get me to
How
like?
far 4 hours
You're
can
saying
we
like
go? We
all
can go
these
for as
people
long
believe
as we
this.
want
Like,
to
so
one
are you
person.
trying to like suggest I should just think like everybody else?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that you, like, for some reason, you just have to gravitate towards this side for some reason. It's like what I said about the goalposts. It's like you move the goalposts until you find something that fits your beliefs somehow.
I have not moved the goalpost in this conversation.
I think what he's trying to say is we all need to find a way to, I don't know, like document or like try to. We're trying to make you believe in a way that
you
we're.
listen to what you just said. You're trying to
Yeah, yeah.
make me believe.
I'm trying to. I'm not very good at speaking.
No, you're
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
very good. You express your thoughts very well.
But like what I'm trying to say is that we all collectively believe that black people and people of color are oppressed
Just a
in
second
a way.
ago, when I tried
what I
to
mean?
like, and I failed to try to talk about how everybody is on one side of like has a kind of a common a belief over here.
Yeah.
And I'm on the other side of that.
Yeah.
I was attacked very. But when you said it, everybody shook their head yes.
The two things we have in common is that we're
just tired as
streamers
fuck.
and that we're
I'm on
anti-racist.
painkillers.
Freedom of press.
That's what we have in
Yeah,
common.
yeah. Like,
We're
what I'm kind of
independent
saying
press
is
that are
that
anti-racist.
I'm
That's what we have-
anti-racist.
That's well then I guess
I don't like racism.
come hang out with our group and be anti-racist with
There's
us.
like a thing like a lot of like people on the right will say like more white people are killed by cops every year than black people.
That's true.
But it is true, correct. But it's like proportionally it's not
Yeah,
accurate.
statistics are weird. Everybody uses like their chosen statistic to make their point of view.
Exactly. I just
And
feel
it
like
takes
it's
a lot of work to actually look into the data. And actually
it's like a
come to-
weird thing, and I feel like that kind of thing, that kind of rhetoric is prevalent online. Like the like more white people die by cops every year, more like, but proportionally more black people do. But like, why can't we all just go on the fucking proportional statistic? Because that's like, that's what's real. You know what I'm saying?
I think that we should take all that data in and not try to sit on one little statistic, whether it's a proportional or whether it's a total number.
Yeah.
You should take in these data and just let them float around in your head and influence you without having
Yeah.
to come to like jump to a conclusion on things.
Exactly. But that's like what we're all trying to say is that like, black people, according to the numbers that I've read, have more problems with the police than white people.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, wait, Dylan, hold on.
Let
Somebody
me
in my
ask-
chat.
let me-
Somebody, hold on.
he's-
This is gonna be really
he's
fast.
addressing me. Let me ask you this.
I don't want the
If you
comments
guys
to go
are
away.
truly so upset about black people getting murdered, why are you focused on the very small number of black people that are murdered by the cops? rather than the very, very amazingly high number of black people that are murdered in their communities by other black people.
Because I
That's all
understand
linked.
that
It's like
that
all linked together.
96% of murders of black people are
It's
are
all
done by
part of the
other
systemic
black
all
racism that
linked
we're talking
together.
about, you
Like
know?
because
That's
in
because
the-
those people get roped and kettled into those areas
for
because of the
proving our
fact that they don't
point,
have
though.
opportunities to go into areas where they have more privileges. Black people are killing black people in those areas because they're all getting crammed in and forced to live in areas where they don't have anything, so they fight over shit and they kill people for shit. If they had opportunities to move out into these areas where white people are predominantly there and they don't let black people in, whether you think they do or not, like that's why that stuff happens. If you took a bunch of white people and threw them into gangs and took all their shit and threw them in the hoods and took all their shit away, they'd start killing themselves and acting the same as well. But they proportionally get more of an advantage and more of like an opportunity to succeed in life than black people do. And if you don't think that's an option, then I've been a part of it. I've applied for tons of jobs that I've sat in group interviews and there's been hella jobs that I've known that the reason why I haven't been hired in lots of places is because of the color of my skin color, especially going in and seeing the staff and the people that work at those places. And that's what people in all these areas deal with. And that's why those areas that black people are killing black people is happening, because they're not getting an opportunity to go out and have a nice life or anything like that. They're getting shoved and kettled and pushed into these areas where the gangs and stuff are at.
it's called the education to prison pipeline. Do you know about this, Villain?
Yes, it's a Marxist theory.
Oh my God.
these people need reparations to get out of these kettles that they're being put into.
That's an example of you assuming that my difference of opinion is by lack of information. You assume that I haven't learned what you can't understand.
I asked if you had. That was a legitimate
It's like
question.
a wrench in the gears. Like he's got a different point of view, so there must be something missing on my side.
I'm just asking if you had heard of it, if you had researched it.
I have heard of it. I think that there are, as I said earlier, I think that there are unique problems that the black community is facing, and I think that what you're saying, I definitely think that there are very strong aspects of the environment that affect our lives, but I think to just put it all on that side and dismiss the role of self-responsibility. Yeah, there's some people that grow up in like Compton or certain communities in Atlanta. What's up? What's up, Anton?
I got black suit on. Y'all interview me or something for a couple dollars. Y'all interview.
Sorry, Anton, I can't give you any money, bro.
But you also say we should look at data, but then you argue against peer-reviewed textbooks. So I don't know. Like I really don't know where to follow your line of thinking. Honestly,
I made an argument that the humanities, and specifically, were corrupt. And I gave an example of an experiment that professors did to show that the peer review process is corrupt in that aspect of college.
well, I mean,
The peer review process in chemistry, or certain branches of biology, or and engineering, or mathematics is not corrupt.
I just don't understand. Like, it seems like you're picking and choosing which authority to listen to. Honestly, and it seems like the ones that you choose not to are the ones that.
I don't. I think it's a fallacy. That's a philosophical fallacy. They appeal to authority.
Okay, well, you're the one that said that you don't believe in textbooks and what they're teaching in college.
I didn't say that. I didn't say I don't believe in textbooks.
Well, it's really hard to follow what you're saying.
You're
so.
kind of like picking and choosing like the narratives that fit like your personal.
Yeah, I don't.
It seems like the only ones you listen to.
I
know, yeah.
I grab onto what I think is true, and I reject what I find not to be true.
It's a bit of a confirmation bias, to be honest.
Based on your opinion, though, like not even based on facts. Like the whole Brianna shit. Like you came up here running your mouth about Brianna. Everything you said
I
was
didn't
wrong.
come up here running around.
You came up here talking about Brianna. Everything you said was wrong.
I came up
You
here and
did.
talked to you guys, and you guys asked me questions, and I gave you my opinion.
But you were so
but what you
quick to
were
believe
saying
that
was
Breonna
wrong.
Taylor had a gun. But you don't know that, and but you come off like, oh, I only want to speak on things that I know or whatever. But when it's convenient for you, but then you choose to believe these things.
I was very open in the fact that I didn't know all the facts on that, and I said.
But okay, then why did you believe that she had a gun? Why did you believe she had a gun?
Huh?
Why did you believe she had a gun then?
Because it's been reported by certain people that she had a gun.
By certain people, okay.
By certain people,
you choose to follow. What
yes,
about them?
and so you were quick to believe that because it confirmed the bias that you have.
So like right now what's happening, like any time I show any doubt or anything, if I show that I'm not 100% sure on something, it's like a foot in the door to like crush my entire stance on my belief system. Yeah, there's things I don't know. I've been open about that. I said that right in the beginning of that, I said I've been wanting to look into the Breonna Taylor thing more and more because the information, I'll tell you now, the information that I think I know about it changes a lot.
But what you said was
on the other
Breonna Taylor
side-
had a gun.
And
she was in the hallway. And her boyfriend was selling. You didn't say this is what I've heard. This is what I've gathered from the intel. You said Breonna Taylor had a gun, and her boyfriend was a drug dealer, and this and this and this.
Like a kindergarten teacher and start every sentence with an I statement. We can assume when I say something, it's my belief.
Yeah, but you're saying you're open to beliefs. You're
But the
open
thing
to
is,
learning
I'm
new
having a
things. But
discussion with you. I'm
don't
not
care
getting
about
on the
facts
internet and making.
at all.
I'm not making a video or making an article claiming like this is the truth. I'm having a discussion with people in real time and saying and being open with.
But your statement and what you said about the Breonna situation was, yeah, I'm open to learning new facts or whatever after the fact. But what you said was, yeah, the Breonna Taylor situation. She had a gun and their boyfriend was a drug dealer. You weren't like, this is what I've gathered, because there's information that disproves all of that. I told you that.
Watch the stream. You're mischaracterizing the way I said.
No, because I told you that Vice has documentaries that they bought the information from the police and have showed that she didn't have a gun, that she was in her room, that her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend.
There's no point in keep going on this conversation because we already said we both didn't know all the facts. We came to that a while ago, and I suggested like maybe we could all put our heads together and really dig into it.
Yeah.
I'd like to learn more about it. I said that from the start. I said I don't know all the facts about it. There are probably a lot of things I'm wrong with, and I'm willing to be corrected. But I'm not just going to jump into mob think and like, oh, the police murdered her. That's a pretty strong claim. I'm going to need some evidence to believe that.
But saying that she had a gun and her boyfriend was a drug dealer is a pretty strong claim as well without knowing all the facts. I'm just saying that. Like,
I'm going to have to look into that again later because
I was send me a message. I'll send you all the information that I've gathered from it because I've looked up a ton of it too. Because you don't think me being out here following the protests around, they're asking for justice for Breonna Taylor, do I want to give my platform to that if it's not true? No, I want to look it up and I want to know. Like, I'm not just going to go out and stream just to stream. I want to like know when I'm streaming is credible, so I do my research as well, we all do.
So, and the Breonna Taylor thing is not an area of my focus. My focus has been on the riots and why is this happening? Why is there society? Why is there so much homelessness?
Because of Breonna Taylor getting murdered. Because of Breonna Taylor getting murdered and people claiming that she had a gun and her boyfriend is a drug leader and she didn't. That's why this is happening. That's why riots are happening. Is because I'm not saying people like you, but people that just think she had a gun. Her boyfriend is. That's why we're breaking. That's not why we. That's why people are breaking windows.
People in Portland, Oregon, attacking businesses and people and cops in Portland, Oregon, because of what happened to Breonna Taylor in
I honestly can't tell you that. So I've been confused about the same thing.
I see those
because
as
people are fed up with seeing it.
Instance,
it was the final
I
thing.
see it as an angry generation that's using any instance that they can see as a virtuous reason for to vent all the hate they have. I don't think people. I don't believe people in Portland are rioting in Portland over Breonna Taylor. I think they're rioting over the anger and the hurt in their hearts, and they're using Breonna Taylor as a scapegoat.
I think what's happening is the generation, which is people of our age that are doing the rioting and stuff. I think what's happening is they're sick and tired of seeing what's happening all around, not just because they want to go out and break shit, because people are our age, we generally tend to care about people more often than like people who are older do. They're set in their beliefs, or whatever. That's just how it is. That's how things have been. So the reason why people in different cities and different parts around the U.S. are upset, even though people like Breonna Taylor wasn't killed here, but people are still pissed because they're tired of seeing it happen. But it's a generation. Our generation is.
I'll say this too. A lot of times I've been put against the wall by people like interrogating me on Breonna Taylor, and I have told them, show it to me, man. Like I think I talked to the two gentlemen that were standing on each side of Adam Carolla that night up in Vancouver, and I told them, man, if you guys show me a situation where a police officer actually, like unquestionably, has murdered or wrongfully killed a citizen, I will be marching in the streets with you guys. But I'm not.
She can name off a shit ton of for you.
It would be so helpful if there was like a list of names or something that you could maybe reference. Where would we ever find something like that? I wonder. Maybe it was like a list of names. Maybe it was
Ian,
every day.
I have a worldview too that disagrees with your worldview, and I could talk
obviously.
to you that same way, and I could be like, hey, it would be so easy
You're
if
saying
there was just these books you could read, and you could see why I believe what I believe.
Earlier you
But
said
that
this.
goes nowhere, man.
You're saying you don't have the information. I'm telling you, it's readily available, being chanted at you every day. You could take that list of names that you hear and write it down and go do that
I've
research.
looked into some of it. I've looked into some of it.
How have you
and
not
I-
looked
and
up Breonna Taylor yet?
and I have looked into it a little bit.
Villain, do you know?
Not enough, clearly.
But as I told you earlier, it's very, very, very hard for people to want to give your guys' voice the movement, the voice of the movement, any credibility, because there's this idea that if we give your guys' statements, it's pretty cold out here, huh?
It is hella cold out here.
If we give you guys your guys' voice any credibility, or if we look into it, it encourages you to use violence rather than. It's much harder to find a voice with peace than it is to do violence.
Okay,
so
answer your question about Portland. Did you know that Portland, like is out of any other state in the whole United States, has the highest, like, by far, police brutality rate out of anybody?
John Hacker made that argument to me one time, and I'd like to, if you want to make that argument, I'll listen to it. Like, we don't have to do that now. You can send me a thing later.
You can just Google it. It's there's stats all over it.
You're
even
making
since we
a
started.
claim, dude. I could also.
That's not a claim. They're facts. Those are facts. Those are facts.
The reason the feds got brought in are
Cheez-Its are yellow. Cheez-Its are yellow. The sun is yellow. Police brutality here is worse than everywhere else.
I'm not saying that you're wrong.
My dick is brown. Police brutality worse here than everywhere else. It's a fucking fact.
I'm not saying
Your mask is black. Police brutality here is worse than everywhere else. It's a fact.
And all of those are claims. Some claims are factual and some claims are not factual.
My dick is brown. That's a
You
fact.
said one of our facts is true.
Police
You said they're
brutality
all
is worse here.
incorrect.
That's a
Do you want me
fact.
to respond to you or not? Or do you just want to yell at me?
I don't want you to say, oh, that's how you interpret it. It's a fucking fact.
That's
It's a
not what I'm
fact.
saying.
That's what you said.
That's not what I'm saying, bro. I'm saying that
My
you're
opinion.
making a statement. You've got a belief.
I'm stating facts.
You've got a belief.
Facts.
And you're sharing it with me.
F-A-C-T-S, facts.
The burden of proof is on you. Like you can.
It's not on me. It's on the internet. Everybody knows here. Ask any other person here. It's a fact.
Religious people do this too, and they'll say like, "Oh, you're supposed to do this. The Bible says that." And I'm like, "Well, tell me about that. Where does it say that in the Bible?" I'm like, "Oh, you can just go on the line."
But I'm telling you, it says it on the internet all over.
But what I'm saying is, you're sharing your worldview with me. You want to convince me of it.
I'm sharing facts.
Share the reason why you believe it. Don't just
Because it's on the internet and it's a fucking fact. That's why.
The feds were brought in because
That's
the
why.
police
Yeah,
were
okay.
being
That's
too hard on us.
You're also having people that are have this cultural experience that are telling you that it's happening, and you still don't want to believe it. So how is that supposed to be proven to you?
Are you afraid of facts, or are you just like set on your beliefs? Is that all you care about? Is what villain believes?
I'm willing to listen to you, but I'm not just going to let you tell me.
Yeah, but
that
you're listening
your
to it.
worldview is
Okay, the
true.
point of a conversation is for you to listen and say, I understand that point of view. I'll look into it. Not that's your perception of it, and this is why it's not true because I believe this way.
Say that.
That's what you're. That's what you said.
No, that's not what I was saying, bro. I'm
Then
saying
you're not fucking listening to yourself.
You're sharing what you believe, and I'm saying I'll listen. Show me.
And I told you, go look at the facts, and you say.
I'm not going to go down. There's a million different beliefs in the world. I'm not going to go running down everybody's rabbit hole. If you want to share something with me,
I know.
give me a starting off point. Show me something that'll get my interest sparked on it.
That was the answer to your question.
That was the answer to your question. Is there are facts online that show it? Like we've all been reading these statistics. That's what made me start. That's what made me want to come from Eugene to Portland is because of those facts.
If I went chasing everybody's claim without any initial evidence on their part,
but you're talking yourself in a circle because I'm answering your question. I'm answering it. I'm telling you there's facts, and you're saying, well, that's your perception. No, I'm not. It's a fact.
Say that's your perception.
That's what you just said.
No, bro. I'm
You
not
said
saying
perception like 10 times. Nigga, my ears work. I can hear you.
What I'm saying is if you want to share something with me, I'm open to sharing it with you. I'm not going to let you make a claim about your worldview and just demand that I go look at it.
But you said you're open to learning. You came to this
share your
crowd.
point of view with me. I'll hear it.
You knew we were down here. You walked up open to have a conversation and to learn.
This is going back and forth, bro. I'm not trying to be animosity.
No, you're going back and forth.
Let me give you an example of what's in my head. So I lost my faith in Christianity, and then years and years later, I wanted to be back into it. I wanted to go back in the Matrix, man. And so I'd go to all these
I was the same way.
pastors.
I grew up in church 3 days a week.
So I go to all these pastors and I'd be like, hey, why do you believe this? It doesn't make sense to me for this reason. And what very often happened is they would give me a stack of like 20 books to read. And I'm like, dude, okay, well, each individual book, kind of give me the point of this book. Why are you picking this book for me? Because if I spend 20 books, like, are you serious, 20 books? If I spend all that time, how do I know that I'm going to come to the same conclusion of you? Like, give me a pop-off point. Like, why'd you show this book? What about this book?
Because maybe 20 books could help you understand like his belief or his perception of it, and that way you can understand, okay, well, this is why he believes it, and I don't believe it for this reason because this is why he believes it. That's why.
A lot of times it just wastes my time, and I get halfway through a book and I'm like, this book is poorly written.
I know.
The
Then don't ask somebody why do you believe in this? Give me your information, let me look it up, and then get bored on it. Like, just do the work. That's like you asking me, hey, how do I drive a car?
I'm
And
trying
then
to share my idea with you.
yeah.
I'm trying to share like why I'm trying to ask you to share a little bit of why you believe, because I don't want to just go down rabbit holes and waste my time. Like you made a claim. I'm not saying it's factual or infactual. I'm saying you're making a statement. Give me a little bit of reason why you believe that. Like why do you think that? Rather than just telling me to go Google it.
So you want to know why I think the police brutality rate is high here?
That's the topic. You were talking about the thing, and I said I'd like to look into that more. John Hacker brought it up one time, and I'm curious about it. Like, what makes you believe that?
Okay, well, okay. So I'll admit the first off, what made me believe that was the statistics, was the facts. Until I came down here and actually saw the aggression and stuff between the police. You're right. You get to pick and choose what events and stuff you've been to. We've been to every single goddamn one since day one. I've been thrown on the ground by the cops, jerked around, shot by everything. We've all been fucked up by the cops here worse than any other city by far. So that's why I believe it now, just because of the fact that I've been down here and had the shit beat out of me by them by here. Not even close.
And they've gotten told multiple times they can't.
You can't like not see.
Yeah, you know how many times they've been told. You know how many times we've had like lawsuits and shit against them that you're not allowed to touch press. You're not allowed to tear gas this night. You're not allowed to do this. What do? They come out here and fuck us up. They come out here and fuck us up. They come out here and break our shit. I have video proof of it all. I have video proof of them targeting me. Like I had to go to a hospital one night for 6 hours because I got shot in the fucking balls by an officer that pulled another officer to him, pointed at me, and he stuck his gun through the thing and started aiming at me and waiting until he got me, and I left. And I was by myself, clearly marked as press. I have a fucking camera in my hand. They're not supposed to do that, and they're still doing that. That doesn't happen in other cities where they call it riots. But in Portland, time after time after time, it has happened, and I have all the evidence of it. You don't want to waste your time, but I'll sit down with you with my videos and show you. Like I have all of it.
Let me ask you one question. I'm not trying to put you on
They
the
had
spot.
it on the
or,
Senate floor. Videos
I'm not trying to
like
make you prove yourself. I just am curious. You said that the first thing that made you believe that was the statistics. Did you read a book or you see a video online, or did you read an article? Or
I read the statistics, and I was watching the lives as things were happening in Portland, comparing it to like different cities where I was watching the police make pushes.
What I'm asking though, you said you read the statistics. Do you remember? Did you read it like an article online or a book? Or?
I saw somebody say in a chat or mention Portland was the most, so I Googled what are the police brutality rates, and then I probably clicked on like 5-6 different sites. I didn't just say, oh, it says on the front page of Google. No, I did my research, and then I also did my research by watching all the other streams, and then I also did my research by coming down here and getting fucked up and traveling. And I've been to DC. I've been all over the place, and it's worse here than it is anywhere else from my experience, and I'm sure you can ask them by almost everyone else's experiences as well. Like even silly stupid shit. Like there's been nights when I've been at the courthouse before it got like when there were still riots and stuff there, like late at night, like we've stayed late at night and started picking up trash and just hanging out, and out of nowhere feds would just come running out of the bushes and shooting and tackling people for no reason. We were out there picking up garbage, and I have all that on film too. There wasn't even protesters out there. It was homeless people and press and medics and people cleaning up. And they would come rush out there, run out of the bushes, start shooting the shit out of all of us, tackle us, flip shit, and like for no reason. And that doesn't happen anywhere else but here. And it's happened over and over and over. And I have all the proof for it. And so does everybody else.
I have a different perspective on that, so we'll just have to agree to disagree. Because I've been out there too. I was out there for quite a while before I got chased out. And I saw a lot of people making the claims that you're making, and from my perspective.
But we've never been chased out, and we've been down there every day. And I just told you I could show you videos of it. Like I
understand, but I'm saying that we have different perception. I've been out there when people have made claims at you, and I had just seen them provoking the police.
So if he shows you the film, will it change your perspective? I can't talk.
So like you were saying earlier, there's a
I
spot
was
where we
taking
can all.
the information. I'm not gonna say that I'm going to come to conclusions before I seeing something.
Villain.
Yeah, like we were saying, is there a time we can all schedule and actually sit down, bring?
We're making eye contact. I'm sitting here telling you from my experience, from me going to these places. I'm sharing to you that I have personally experienced this. I'm giving you all the facts that I've literally been everywhere and have been on the front. I've never been chased out.
I'm willing to listen to you. I'm willing to hear your point of view, but I'm not going to be told that I have to believe you. Just
I know,
because
but do
you
you know how ignorant and stupid it is for you to just go, well, all that really makes a lot of sense, but I'm just still not going to believe it's true because, I've been chased out and, from my experience, it hasn't happened. But I'm telling you from my experience, I've been to the hospital from it. All of us have been fucked up from it. Like, You're discrediting my my
discrediting
stand.
mine.
No, I'm not. I didn't discredit yours.
We have a
You don't have
different-
as much experience as I do. You don't. You don't. So you can't do that. You don't have nearly as much experience as any of us. So you can't say, well, because I haven't experienced that, and from my perception of it, it's not a thing because I haven't experienced it from what I've seen. But I'm telling you, this whole group is telling you that we've been out here way the fuck longer than you have, and we've all felt it and experienced it. I wouldn't be wearing fucking head to toe armor if I haven't been fucked up. You know how nice it would be to come out here in fucking sweats and be chilling? No, I have to wear body armor because I get fucked up by the cops.
But what I'm saying is I'm willing to hear your point of view, but that does not come with an obligation for me to believe your point of view. I still have to take my point of view into account and the information that I have in my life that you don't have.
Okay, then
I
you're a
also
fucking
have-
then you're a robot because
I-
I'm talking to you as a person and I'm telling you from my
I also have
experience.
experiences that you don't have that you couldn't see. This is
But
this
listen,
falls
this
into
is the difference. This is the difference. If you were to explain me your position or your experience on something, I would go, man, I value your opinion and your experience on that, and I'm gonna take that in consideration of my opinion. You go, oh, that's your opinion. Well, fuck your opinion because my opinion's different. That's what you're doing, whether you perceive it or not. That's what you're fucking doing.
Yeah, that's not what I'm doing.
No, that is 100% what you're
That's-
doing. And if
that's
you
not-
don't think that's what you're doing, then
that's-
you're fucking delusional.
I don't talk the way you just talk. That's not the way not my speech pattern. But I do value that you share
No,
your point of
I-
view with me, and I will take it into account with my perception. But what I'm saying.
Okay, well,
is I feel
well,
like
let me
I'm
tell you
being
this. My
pressured-
perception
I
of
feel
your
like I'm
perception
being
is
pressured
bullshit.
to believe you just because you're sharing your point of view with me.
Okay, well, my perception of your perception is bullshit, and you need to go find some new fucking perception because I'm telling you, as a fucking man, I'm trying to sit here and have a real ass conversation with you, and the only thing you care about is saying my perception says that that's not true because my experience. Well, fuck you then. I'm telling you as a fucking person. I'm talking to you as a human dude. I don't give a fuck your perception. I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm talking to you as a person from my experience. So come to my level and talk to me as a fucking person. If not, you're a fucking robot. And I don't want to hear that's your perception of it. Fuck off.
No, no. You don't get to tell me what to believe.
Fuck off! I get to tell you whatever the fuck I want.
You
That's
can.
your rule. That's your rule.
But I'm gonna.
That's
you-
your
You
rule.
can say whatever you want. But what I'm saying is that I will believe whatever I want as well.
Okay, then you're an asshole for not taking other people's consideration and just being a
I
person.
take your point of view into consideration.
No, you're not.
You completely ignore the fact that I said that I feel like you're pressuring me into believing you just because you're sharing your point of view.
I didn't ask you to believe me. I didn't once ask you to. I just
but
explained
said
you
I
my
feel
experience.
Like you're pressuring me into believing you.
How am I pressuring you? I'm giving you. You asked me a question. I gave you evidence. You asked me a
and he's
question.
giving you
You're
the
interviewing me, dude. You asked me a question and I gave you evidence, and then you go, "Well, I feel like you're trying to convince me to believe you." No, you asked me a fucking question, and I answered it. So get the fuck over it and be a fucking person.
Also, it seems that you don't really believe anything that you
Holy
haven't
shit.
experienced yourself, and that's kind of like the whole issue is that you're never going to have the experiences of a BIPOC person.
So what we're discussing right now falls under the school of thought of intersectionality. Basically, it is the idea that you can never really understand another person's perception, which is somewhat true, but it ignores the fact that humans can empathize with each other and they can put themselves in other people's shoes. So I don't need to experience everything another person has been through.
Have a good night. Get home safe.
You don't need to, but it doesn't seem
don't
like
need
you
to
will.
experience
It doesn't
everything in
seem
order
like
to
you
relate with them.
will believe anything unless you experience it yourself.
No, I won't believe anything unless I'm convinced of it.
Okay, but what
Okay, then don't
what
bitch at
has
me
to
for trying to explain my point of view and then
No,
lying
I
and
want
saying
to
I'm
hear your point of view. I just told you. It just felt like I was being pressured to believe you.
I
just
know,
'cause you
but
were telling me.
then pull up your big boy pants because you're reporting. You asked me a question, I answered your question. It's not your job to feel like I'm trying to convince you of something when you ask me a question and I answer it. That's not your job. Your job is to take my input and go, I understand it.
It's like a negative. Like
No, we haven't. I'm
a
chilling. I'm chilling.
I know, but this is unproductive. Like
It's
avenue
not
of
unproductive. This
discourse.
is not unproductive from your perspective. I'm
Yeah.
sorry you perceive it that way, but
Okay.
for me this is awesome because I've learned a fucking lot about you,
Yeah.
and I'm glad this happened.
All right.
So have you ever been called fake press before?
Yes.
For taking one side over the other and stating your opinions when you're interviewing somebody?
Yes.
Okay, just curious. That's not my only question.
There's
feel
going to
like-
be a lot of this that you're just not going to be able to believe because of this like arbitrary set of rules that you have for, it seems to me, like that you have for like what you'll believe. But I think that you're just, this is I think the reason why you're never going to understand the protesters and understand what they're fighting for, because apparently it's not enough for you to hear
thousands, hundreds of thousands of black people across the country trying to desperately tell you what the problem is, it's not enough for you. I don't know why. I can't really, like, it has something to do with your arbitrary, like, reasons for believing things.
We have worldviews and we have biases.
Villain, I feel like
I could say the same thing to you, that you're not going to be able to understand the people that you think are white supremacists and all the racists that you believe that are going on. You seem to think that all the Patriot movement is a bunch of white supremacist racists, and
not all of them. No, I actually interviewed a guy at one of the Back the Blue rallies. He actually seemed like a pretty level-headed, anti-racist guy.
Facts.
But I also think that for just like you, they're just not seeing the full picture. They're just not. They're hearing it, but they're not listening.
That's why I was saying, if that's true about me, then it's also true about you.
How so?
You have a very, very strong, concrete, not to pun intended, worldview. You have a very radical worldview that's very, very concrete.
I don't think that believing in human rights is radical, to be honest with you.
Well, the fact that
it shouldn't be.
The fact that you think that your views boil down to just you're so altruistic that it's just a fact that you're believing in human rights.
That's the core of what it is.
You have an extreme worldview. I probably am pretty extreme on some of my beliefs as well.
People are dying.
That's your opinion.
People are literally dying. That's a fact. At the hands of the police. That is a fact. Black, white, whatever. People are dying. And you, even yourself earlier, said that you don't agree with that.
I don't.
Okay.
No. You're changing the goalposts now.
So, no, sorry. Is that not what you said?
I said that I don't agree with people being murdered. I think you're saying just dying. There are times when police kill people and it's justified to protect other people.
Yeah, of course. But a lot of what we're hearing, the names that you're hearing, that's not the case. We're like, Seattle, Sean Furr in Seattle. Sean Furr got killed, shot in the back by the police as he's running away, holding his 1-year-old daughter.
I'm not familiar with that story.
Well, that's convenient. I don't know, man. Like you never are you? Like, I mean,
it's
like,
convenient
dude,
that I don't know everything.
It's because every time I come up with something, like I remember a story that I could tell you, you were constantly like, well, I don't know those facts. Are you going to go home and research them tonight? Are you going to go look up Sean Furr? And there's body cam footage that you can watch. He was running away, and he was shot in the back.
Why were they going after him?
Does it matter?
Yes.
No, okay. But why? He's got a 1-year-old baby in his arms, and he's running away. But that's justification to shoot him for what reason? You tell me what reason.
Who said that?
What?
Who said it was justification to shoot him?
You just said, well, what was the reason? Because obviously there's a reason good enough.
I asked why were they going after him.
I want to know what...
You're telling me something I don't know, and I'm asking you to tell me about it.
I honestly don't remember the charges that they had for why they were chasing him, but I would counter question to you, what reason could they have that would justify them shooting a man in the back as he's holding a 1-year-old baby?
Like, honestly,
like what does it matter why they were like?
What would make it justifiable for you to say, okay, he should have shot someone running away in the back with his child? What would bring it to that level for you?
I don't know. I'm not making that claim.
Say he just murdered someone 5 minutes ago. Would that be justified to shoot him in the back as he runs away?
Maybe if he
with a baby in his arms.
Maybe if he just murdered someone five minutes ago and he's running away and they don't know a baby's in his arm, that might be a just shooting.
But wouldn't it be a better idea for the cops to just like call it a night, go home, and find him another day? If he's running away?
Chase him down and tackle him or whatever, anything non-lethal.
He's got a baby in his hand. He's not gonna.
Oh, and by the way, they shot him in the head. By the way, they didn't shoot for the legs. They shot him in the head.
I don't know. I'm not making any claims about this. I don't know about the story. I'm offering to listen to you, but
okay, you can listen to me now. But will you go look it up later?
To make up
we're not forcing you to do anything. We're asking you, are you gonna go look up this information? You keep getting defensive and you keep going, well, this is great. I'm gonna listen to your input, but I'm not gonna let you force me to believe it. No, we're asking you to go fucking look this up because you keep telling us, well, I've never seen this. I've never seen the police do this unjustifiably. Well, we're telling you when it's happening. You're going, well, I'm not going to let you convince me it happens because of that one story. No, we're asking you, are you going to go home and fucking look it up? Because it's everywhere. You say, I don't know names. You say, you don't watch our streams very often. Watch our fucking streams and listen to the names and look them up. And don't come ask us questions and then go, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to believe it because I haven't looked it up. No, go look it up. That's what we're asking you to do is go research.
Hundreds of names for no reason. They want you to look them up.
We talked about like maybe putting our heads together and look and us all getting more informed on the Bureau case. I'm up for that. The story that you just said, I can't remember the name.
Sean Furr.
Sean Furr.
Furr.
Sean
FUHR.
I'll look that up.
Okay.
Kevin
I
Peterson.
mean, like I told you, DM me or like give me your information and I will send you a fucking list. I will send you information. I will send you videos. I will send you all this shit. That's what we're just
He says
asking.
He doesn't want to go down a rabbit hole and read all of it, though. So what's the point?
No, that's not true. I said that I'm not going to go there. I'm more than willing to look into things.
Okay, then contact me, please.
So we, I'm more than willing to have a dialogue and,
Yeah.
and look into things. I've said that from the beginning. So I just don't want to.
That's what we're asking. But sometimes, you know, what I perceive is sometimes we're just asking you that question, and you keep thinking that we're like trying to make you believe it. We're not trying to make you believe shit. I've never tried to make anybody believe shit. I'll just do what I can to try to give you some information. That's what we've been asking is just, are you going to look this up? And every time we ask that, you go, well, I'm not going to let you make me believe that. That's not what we're asking. You're asking us questions, and we're giving you evidence that we've all clearly, you know, we're not all lying. We've all looked this up. We all, you know, as much as you want to say it's our opinion, we've all looked it up, and we're asking you to just look it up. That's it. And not say no just because I don't know about that. That's not valid. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. It just makes you look like an asshole.
Yeah, I think you're mischaracterizing the conversation, but yeah, I think it'll be cool for us to look into Breonna Taylor together. You know, I'll look into Sean Furr. Probably go Google him tonight, see what that story is. I've never heard of him before.
Go look at the body cam footage. It's up there. It's hard to watch, but you can see it. I mean, it's literally, and I'll tell you, you can go look it up later, but I'll tell you, you're gonna see a man running away and getting shot, and he's got a baby in his arms. That's it. That's all it is. I mean, there's not really a lot of justification there. There's not a lot of room for justification.
There's not.
If that's not going to make somebody protest, then I don't know what would.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin Peterson in Vancouver.
What'd you say?
What about Kevin Peterson in Vancouver? They shot him about 15 times.
He's gonna say
Why is
that,
that
that he
justified?
pulled a gun
Yeah,
because
like
that's the
Kevin shot.
misinformation that's going around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually dropped that, but I'm saying you shouldn't shoot somebody 15 times that has their back to you.
There you
no
go.
matter what.
That and that I don't feel like anybody can argue
His
with.
a close friend of mine and was on FaceTime with him. He did not have a gun. So
Yeah,
Like I said, that's what I've been saying a lot. Like
multiple witnesses.
the
say
cops
there's no
don't
gun.
need
There's
to
no
shoot
gun.
people.
Yeah.
In most situations, they can call it a day, go home, fucking find them another day. You know, like there's no
also had a
justification.
3-month-old
If someone's running away from you, you don't need to pursue them,
Sometimes
right?
you do, yeah.
But not
Okay, but not shooting them in the back
Shoot
of the
them
head.
15 times when their
15
back is
times,
turned away
and
from
then
you.
hang up the phone because baby
Pursue them,
mama-
dude. I have a
Probably
fucking
kinda
taser
wrong.
on me. If somebody's doing something bad, I'm not gonna. If I have a gun on me at the same time, I'm not gonna go fucking kill him. If I'm gonna run up and fucking tase him, or bring him down to the ground, or use my mace, or use my baton, or something else. I'm not gonna fucking shoot him in the back of the head. That's not justified, no matter if you're a police officer or not. You know what I mean?
Especially if you're a police officer.
Especially if you're a police officer.
Just
That's why
because
this
you
is
fit the
happening.
description
Exactly.
too.
Higher moral
Exactly.
standards if you're a
Police
police
should be
officer.
held to higher standards, especially because they have guns and they patrol our community constantly.
And it's their
They're supposed
job
to
to
keep
make us
us
feel
safe.
safe. And who like aside from the Patriots, who who do you like? Who feels fucking safe? I don't. Like I do sometimes, but like it's dumb, and like I don't know.
I mean, you've seen it. You know you can't feel safe all the time. You've been.
Yeah, I think it's my responsibility to feel safe. Such is life. Not everything's going to be safe, but I don't think it's anybody else's responsibility.
Yeah.
to
Okay.
make
So
me feel
what
safe.
what happened to you? You got calmly. You know, cop said, "Villain, come over here." He called you over there, said, "This is what happened. You're getting arrested." That's cool. That probably made you feel like fucking shit. Well, imagine being black and instead of the cop going, "Come over here," they're fucking running at you or shooting at you or fucking trying to harm. Like it's completely different. And you can and like I'm not gonna convince you that this happens everywhere. I'm just gonna let you know to probably just look it up that shit actually does happen. Because I'm like I said, I'm not trying to convince you of everything because that's apparently what you think we're all trying to do. I'm not. I'm just telling you that interaction made you feel hella fucking uncomfortable, made you really fucking pissed off, right?
Yeah,
The
it's
one
true.
time that happened, right? Okay, that's happening to black people fucking everywhere all the time. So that's why people are pissed off. All everywhere. Even not just black people, other people. That's why people are pissed. If it was
Sorry, go ahead.
if it was just black people, then maybe it would just be black. But it happens to people all the time, no matter what skin color. That's why people are this pissed off. It's because it's stupid, and you know firsthand how uncomfortable it is. Imagine if imagine how I would have felt if the police would have been waving me over. I would have felt a lot more comfortable just because of the color of my skin or somebody else. Like that's like you have, and I'm not telling you you have this because I'm not going to tell you what you have or what you believe, and I'm telling you. From my perspective and from black people, you have the advantage of having white skin. You don't have to have that being nervous of them profiling you because you're black, because people being profiled for being black is a thing. Systemic racism is a thing. It's easier for you to just go out and just get arrested because you don't have to worry about getting fucking mauled down or shot in the back of the head or shot in the back 15 times.
They call it a privilege because of your skin, a white privilege.
I think white privilege is a myth.
I've seen it happen firsthand, where I was with a group of white friends in a very
I could literally walk
white
into
town.
any store and get a job
And I
right
say
now
white
because
town
I'm
because
white.
there's probably like
done
one
it.
black
How
family
many
in
times
that
have
town.
what time have you gotten this entire
My name is Carissa. I've seen it happen multiple times firsthand, where I was in a car with my friend, or like we were all drinking, and I'm the one that gets pulled out, like all my other white friends in this town that I believe has a lot of racism in it. I've seen it happen firsthand. Like I'm being picked out because I have brown skin. I'm not very dark right now, but in summer I do get darker, and I feel like, people are racist against me, and it is because of the society that we grew up in. It's not like people are just it's not like people are babies and they're just racist. Like they grew up in this system and become racist.
Listen back on your stream. You know how many times I've been watching your streams, and when you've been behind the Patriots following them, when they've been following Antifa and other protesters and other people of color, you know how many times I've heard the Proud Boys go, "Get out of here, you Mexicans! Get out of here, you whatever! Get out of here, you this color!" That's like you say it's not
on my stream.
Yes, yeah. I've heard it on your stream many times. I've heard it on Mr. Bill's. I've heard it on all the other right-wing stream, all the people that are with them. It happens all the time. All the time. Black Rebel, everybody. I've even heard it myself. I've been there myself, and I've listened to them yell at people who are Arab, yell at people who are different. The Proud Boys and all those guys, they do that all the fucking time. And to think that that's not systematic, or to think that that's not in law enforcement and that's not a real threat to people, like I get fucking freaked out going around them now. I get freaked out going around Patriots. I live in a whole town of them, and it's because of the fact that systematically. That's how they didn't just wake up and go, yeah, I'm gonna be racist today. No, their parents. That's all taught into them. That's how the police. That's how the U.S. is. That's why we're so scared, and that's why people are doing this, is because of that shit. Like and I'm super surprised at the fact, and I'm pretty pissed off that you go on my stream. No, you're not dumb. You know you've heard it because you're streaming. If you don't say that you haven't heard them do that, then that's dumb, because I hear them do it all the time at every event. I get yelled at for being black all the time by them. Right. And they say we're not racist. Proud Boys aren't racist. No, you pick and choose brainwashed and delusional black people to be your token people that you point and hold out and say, look at one of our leaders is black. Look, we have a black Proud Boy right here. Probably because he was raised in the same situation I was, with a bunch of white people. My mom didn't know she was black. My mom's black. She did not know. My whole family was racist. They told my mom she was white. You're white. You're white until she was 15. And she met like another family that brought her in and talked to her like, you're a black person. You're not a white person. That's my family. That's my family that did that. Like my grandparents didn't want me there because I was black. They didn't want my mom there because she had another black child. Like that's a thing. And like, and I'm sure your response to me would be like, that's, I'm sorry, like that you feel that way, it's your experience, but I don't believe it that's way. But I'm like I told you, I'm talking to
you. Keep pegging me into those boxes, dude.
I know, but that's how you've been this whole time since you've been here. That's what we're doing.
I walked into a group of steers. I didn't know. Like I drove up here, I thought it was just Eugene. Boop Trip?
That's me.
Yeah, me and him are Boop Trip.
Okay.
I'm the owner of it.
I heard that you guys were on there. I couldn't see. All I could see was your stream. Somebody told me that they heard Blue's voice in the background.
Yeah, he was here.
And I heard Dak was up here.
Yep.
Now I got up here, I drove by, and I was like, crap, there's like a dozen of them out there, and I don't know what I'm walking into right now. But I'm not trying to come out here and get you guys to believe me. I'm not coming out here and gonna let you guys just brainwash me or like suck me into the board and get me to believe everything that you believe.
Hopefully we'll get the brainwash a little bit. That would be preferred.
I am trying to create dialogue. That's what I've been trying to do for the last couple months, and I'm flawed like everybody else. I get my ego too big sometimes, and I start preaching rather than talking. But I am trying to create dialogue. That's why I came out here to talk to you guys today. I think our country is in a dangerous place, and unless our generation unless we start talking to each other, it's going to keep getting more and more divided, and tyrants are going to rise up and stir that up even further, and our country is going to be a horrible place to live pretty soon.
I don't disagree with you on that. Do you think someone should tell Andy no to fuck off? Because he's like creating a lot of that division. Like he has such a huge follower base.
I think that we need to get together and rise up against
by not like using pronouns that people would want you to use. Bullshit, like if you're gonna say like, oh, there's only like I'm not gonna be racist.
You guys are obviously not completely aware of my platform. I am in what you would call transgender. I was born a man.
I live as a man, I walk like a man, I talk like a man, but from a very early age, I wanted to be a woman. I've talked about this thoroughly on my platform. You can go to my YouTube and see the.
So somebody said that, right?
You can go a video I made a couple weeks ago. It's got a thumbnail on it. It says like genders on it or something. It's very easy to see. It's got the man and woman symbol on there, and I described my past with that. I don't think that that's a path that leads towards health. I think it's a real situation that people deal with, and my path for choosing to deal with that was to embrace my biological gender. It's caused me a lot of pain and suffering in my life. I don't think it's healthy to encourage people to go down that route. I've seen it.
Are you happier now?
Huh?
Are you happier now as a male?
I think it's more functional. It's still something. The path that I'm walking now is getting better and better, but it's from everything I've read. It's something that I'm going to deal with my whole life. It's going to be difficult, but
would you be happier if you wore a dress and?
What I'm not. I don't want to get
called
into
you
that
female?
right now. Watch my YouTube video. It's like 45
all I'm
minutes
saying
long.
is just do whatever makes you happy, and whoever is
Yeah,
judging you,
I
fuck
think
'em.
sometimes
That's all I have to say about that.
some things seem like they're going to make us happy, but in the long term, they actually hurt. For instance, do you
You
guys
just said
know
you're gonna-
with the transgender people that transition? I'm sure that you're aware of the very high suicide rate within transgender people. It's said to be around 40%, which is astronomical. The only other suicide rate was comparable was the Jews in the Nazi concentration camp. That suicide rate does not change after people transition. Nobody talks about that.
Could it be that the society that we
There are
live in?
studies that show
makes
societies.
sense. Makes it-
It's a study of homosexuality. It doesn't always go with gender issues, as you know, but there was a study of homosexuality and societies that approve of that, and societies that are intolerant of it. The Scandinavian countries are the countries that are the most tolerant, the most egalitarian. The suicide rates between the countries that are least tolerant to homosexuality compared to the suicide rates with the most tolerance to homosexuality are statistically insignificant. They're basically the same.
Well, so don't you think a lot of like the driving force behind those statistics could be the fact that people transitioning aren't accepted for their transition? People
Well, the
don't
study I did, I just mentioned, wasn't about transsexualism. It was about homosexuality.
Okay. Well, don't, even with that though, like, don't you think someone like coming out as being a homosexual, not being accepted for it, would probably make that like someone doesn't decide, oh, I want to be a homosexual. Oh, this isn't fun. I'm gonna kill myself. They kill themselves because people say, oh, you want to be a homosexual? Oh, well, that's wrong. You're not a homosexual. Being a homosexual is wrong. Oh, you want to be a girl or something? Oh, like you said earlier, like I'm not gonna identify you as that, but that's gonna make that person want to kill
But the
themselves.
study that I just talked about showed that wasn't the fact. It's not the societal factor isn't the major issue there. It's the inner turmoil, and I can speak to that with my my own situation in life. It's not the worst of it is not how people treat me. Mostly, I've just kept things to myself for the majority of my life. But it's just the turmoil within me has been.
Well, yeah. Well, I can respect that, and I like respect your opinion on it, and like your journey through all that as well. But you know, other people may not be as like I guess eternally affected by that, and more or less like just by how people perceive them and what people label them as.
I know there's a lot of people that just get treated like crap for several different reasons: gender, race, all kinds of stuff. There are people that go through a lot of bad things in life, and they deal with it differently.
Well, the reason I brought it up is because you said we need to come together and not be divided. But like, if your side isn't willing to respect pronouns, then our side will never be able to come together because there's so many people on our side that you need to respect pronouns. And if you don't, then like it's a very disrespectful and a very rude thing to do. So like coming together needs to be both sides being able to tolerate each other.
What you just described was the other side coming together towards you and you being intolerant.
Respect.
To
It's not that hard to respect people.
Yeah, it's just respect. That's all it
The
is.
pronoun thing never actually comes up.
Just like
I have no problem calling someone by their name. The only issue with the gender pronoun thing comes up when, let's say you were a transgender person and you are a male but you've become a woman and you used to be named Bob but now you're called Sheila. I have no problem calling you a name. Names are arbitrary and they're just made up. I could call you Godzilla or whatever you wanted me to call you if it was legitimately what people referred to you as. People call me villain. It's ludicrous. But the only place the gender pronoun issue comes up is when I'm having a conversation with Dak. I'm like, hey, yeah, the other day I went skating and we did this and we did that, and then I saw Sheila, or maybe I said Bob or whatever, and then I said, yeah, me and her went to do this. The only place that comes up is when somebody else is talking and that person comes up as part of the conversation. There's never an issue where you're talking and interacting with the person where you use their pronouns. It just doesn't happen. It's trying to control what other people view and think about that person outside of their interaction. So I can have perfectly fine interactions with a transgender person and treat them just fine. I've had perfectly fine interactions with Tabitha, and I've interviewed Tabitha a few times. That's how I get around that. I just use their name rather than using a pronoun.
So we should just tolerate intolerance.
It's not so much you, like you're obviously sitting here and you're not fighting with us, but if you're saying that both sides need to come together, there are a lot of people on your sides that will come over here and make fun of people for being gay, or call someone, or look at a transgender person and be like, oh, or judge them for that. And that's coming together and saying we're not racist, but we're still going to be homophobic is not going to work.
Well,
it's just
there's
not.
People on the left that'll just refuse to stop calling other people Nazis and assuming they're white supremacists and just throwing those words around.
When you hang out with
it's on
them.
both sides.
I think when you surround yourself by those people, then
I'm a loner.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying them. Like in the Patriot groups, whatever, Proud Boys, whatever you want to call them. There are plenty of white supremacists.
Let me ask you this: do you believe that half of the country are bad people?
No.
And half of the country are good people.
No.
But when you speak and you talk about the Patriot side, as though they're all bad people.
I just said there's a lot of them. I didn't say they were all, and even before I said that I literally interviewed somebody that wasn't.
Okay. Do you view the Patriot group as largely or mostly being bad?
Being bad? Like, by what definition? Like, bad is.
I'm not trying to catch you here.
But seems like it.
When I talk about the leftists, I don't like the movement. I don't agree with the beliefs.
You say Antifa, and you refer to everybody.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of people in that group that aren't
What word
left.
would you like me to use to describe your movement and your political group?
Activists,
Black Lives
you know,
Matter
protesters. I think protesters.
But
is fine.
activists and protests are words that could
been
describe
hearing
people on
recently
both
that they don't
sides.
consider
Sorry,
it
what?
protests
The group of
anymore.
people that we all know that I'm talking about.
likes
Let's say that the group of people that you are involved in that they're talking about.
People in the movement.
I don't believe in the arching narratives that are there. I have a lot of differing opinions, but I try very, very hard to keep myself from clumping you all into one group. If I thought you were all Michael Reinholz, or if I thought you guys were all the ones breaking the windows and beating innocent people up and terrorizing people, I would not be here talking to you.
From what it sounds like is that you do group everyone into Antifa. That's what I've seen.
I don't like the narrative that you say where the protesters are beating innocent people up. I don't see that much of that. There may be some instances of that.
I've seen more of us getting beat up.
I've never seen a protester just beat somebody. I never have.
Protesters help move homeless.
I got jumped at the North
Protesters
Precinct for
also
filming
feed
one
the
day.
homeless and feed people that can't.
And he's still out here with us. It's like that doesn't mean that you automatically become a patriot or whatever.
Dak got hit by one of them too.
And I didn't get a
Dak,
chance to say that
Dak, right
earlier.
there.
When I say I'm a patriot, I'm thankful that I live in America. I think it is a good thing to be born in America and have the rights and the privileges of the laws in this country and the history of this country. I think I have a better life than many other places that I could have been born in. I value our freedoms, our freedom of speech, our right to bear arms, and many other rights we have here. I do not like the increasing growth of our federal government. I do not like the increasing encroachment of the American government into private citizens' lives. For instance, like the gay marriage thing, it would have never been an issue in the first place if the government never stuck its fingers in marriage. Until like 100 years ago, you didn't get government marriage license. It was a thing that you got from your community that you lived in. You didn't go to the government to ask them who you could be married to. So I'm a patriot because I love the fact that I get to live in America. I love this country.
Well, I see a lot more patriotism on this side than I do on that side. honestly, despite them calling themselves patriots.
I mean, I feel like I'm a patriot in that sense. I think
Yeah,
I can agree with
exactly.
you on a lot of
There
those
is
things.
one side burning the American flag, and I don't. See
Which
that
is
happening on the other side.
your constitutional right under free speech to do. Like there's nothing unpatriotic. I mean, I know it sounds counterintuitive like crazy, but the act of burning an American flag is actually exercising the free speech that you have.
It's a use of the free speech, but it is definitely not patriotic to burn an American flag.
It is. It's for a new America. It's nobody stands for the America that the American flag stands for on these streets. Like we were trying to build a new America, so that's
Trying to make
it's
it
not
better.
like burn down the country, burn down the city. It's
people
we
say,
need to
"Let's burn it
change
down."
things, and we're burning down
Yeah.
this ideology of this
You know
flag.
there's a divide. Like, you know this, everything could be better, so you can't deny that there isn't a better America we could have.
Yeah,
you know?
that was written into the founders spoke about.
So that's
that,
why
you know,
people
work-
are- that's why
continuing
people are
to work
burning
towards a
flags.
more perfect union.
So it makes sense why someone might
It's not
want to
out of
burn
disrespect
something.
for the military or anything like that either. It's 100% because the America that we have is not the America we want. So we're not going to sit here and put our hands over our hearts and we're going to put our knee down when people are doing so.
Yeah,
like
our country, we're paying taxes, we're funding prisons, military. Like if our taxes and shit went to like mutual aid and fucking social systems, whatnot. Like Portland is ranked 50 in the U.S. for like mental health services.
Yeah.
Or Oregon itself.
How many times did they make us chant in school, liberty and justice for all, right? Liberty and justice for all.
Like I think
What
we
is
can agree on that.
what is
like,
happening
fuck the
to black
federal
people? Are they
government.
getting liberty and justice? Absolutely not. You know, so yeah, that's the patriotism I see out here. As I see people looking at what our country is supposed to stand for, and they're fucking pissed because it's not. It's just a fucking lie that we've been told our whole lives, and that's what I'm talking about with patriotism.
One thing that I see that
Yeah.
your side.
One quick question.
Why not? Let's do it.
Yo, do you have, to let you know, there used to be a good place, though, and then I'll ask my question. You call it Ezekiel's Wheel Cafe. It's a very good atmosphere, very mellow, good vegetable soup, sandwiches. Anyway, that was a long time ago in Northwest Portland. And, still good coffee house, Rimsky Corset Coffee House. Of course, I know it's still there.
What was your
I haven't been there
question, sir?
recently. Oh, my question. And the zoo's not bad, but I haven't been to the New York Zoo or the
He said it.
zoo in Ireland. I need to.
Did you hear they let the animals loose?
How does he know?
I'm sorry, I don't have any
He's got
food.
some
I'm not gonna give you
intel.
that.
I don't have any
We
food.
don't.
Sorry, man.
Sorry,
Do
man.
you have any snack like chips or cookies? Or
Ah, I
granola?
wish. Sorry.
I can tell you where the I can tell you where the places where you can get food tomorrow if you need to. You probably know though.
I got a hand warmer.
I've been walking day and night.
There's a hand warmer.
Oh, I don't want those. No, I gotta get it.
All
I
right,
gotta get
well,
it.
I'm sorry, I don't have anything to give you. I'm sorry.
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 Try to keep you warm.
One thing I've noticed,
I thought I had a Starbucks.
something I see on your guys' side is that the uniting factor seems to be about the things that you hate.
No.
I don't.
Standing up for what we believe is right and what, trying to change what's wrong.
Injustice is what we hate. So if that makes us wrong, I don't want to be right. I don't know what to tell you about it. Like, you know.
They're standing up
That's
for
what I'm pointing
liberation
out to
and
you. I've been
justice.
trying to analyze things the last couple months and see the differences from one side and one the other. One thing I noticed about the demonstrators is that the uniting factor seems to be about collective hate directed towards things. It's not about what
Okay.
we love.
Okay.
It's
The
about what
other
you hate.
side that
Okay.
you're talking
But
about.
well,
because
yeah, that does sound more like the other side. But let me twist that around a little bit. And I'm not using this analogy to say that everyone on the other side or whatever, or cops are Nazis, but people that stood up against Nazis, you could have said the same thing. Oh, it seems like you guys are all brought together by hatred of fascists or Nazis and fascism in Germany. Like, yeah, people are gonna hate things that are unjust. Like, that's the whole point. You know, we should hate injustice, shouldn't we? Or do you not agree with that?
I think you should hate injustice, but what I'm
There you
saying
go.
is that the appearance of your movement, it seems to be a movement focused on the hate, and not focused on what you love.
Then that's your perception of it, and
That
you
is
need to
my
pay more.
perception.
Then
That's what I'm sharing.
okay. Then I'm saying then
and
please.
we're telling you no. The answer's no.
Yeah, then we're telling you from then no, yeah. Like she's an activist. She leads a group. Her and I've led myself 700-800 person marches. You know what I mean? And you know what I did the whole time? I made sure people were off the streets. I said, guess what? Last night the police said if we're in the streets they're gonna shoot us. So everybody get the fuck off the streets. That's what I did, and we practiced, and people continue to do practice safe protesting. And
last night the
help the
police said
homeless
that they
get
were
out
gonna
of their-
shoot you if you were on the streets.
Get out before the cops push them out.
No. This was a while ago in Eugene. So the night before, like we were all out.
Do
in
you
the
mean with mace or
with pepper balls and tear gas and that? No, not like shoot. But so the night before, we were all out in the streets. And the police came down, and we were all like in the middle of downtown, and they were like, okay, citywide curfew at 11 o'clock, which was 5 minutes away. So what do they do? As soon as 11 hits, we don't have time to get to our house in 5 minutes. They start unleashing on us. So what do? The next day we do a march. Instead of us all being in the streets and giving them that advantage of, oh, you're breaking the law now we can take action on that, we kept them off the streets the whole time and tried to do what we could to make it to where we weren't breaking any laws, and we were practicing what we were able to practice peacefully and under our Constitution. Shit, I just brain farted. I don't know where I was going with that.
We make sure, the whole community makes sure that everybody's
Yeah,
taken care of.
yeah.
Money is fluctuated everywhere. People feed each other like crazy. Like
So what you said earlier is you said you don't want, you said I don't watch many of your guys' streams. Watch our she does a lot of daytime shit in town. We all do, like we all go out and film all the peaceful shit too. The only problem is people are tuning in at night when it's just the bad shit a lot of times. There's tons of good stuff going on the days. I did on Black Friday, we all went and streamed. There was an event going on in Portland where it was Black Friday, but it was to promote black owned businesses. So they had booths and tables and black artists singing and that type of stuff. And that was all peaceful. Nothing bad came of that. But nobody knew that happened because they just want to tune into shit happening and like the bad stuff.
Porn.
Yeah.
The riot porn.
Yeah, the riot porn.
I'm with that too, and I've mentioned that on my platform a couple times where I've backed off of some things where I could have filmed, and I just is this
because you don't get as much viewership, and it's a sad fact of human nature, I guess. I don't know what it is, but what she was saying about how you see a lot of community activism on our side. What do you see on the Patriot side? You see them destroying homeless camps. You know, why? Why? Tell me. Seriously, make it make sense to me.
What was the
You're
reason?
talking about that one day when that
Talking
group
about
came
multiple
down?
days.
a week ago, my group fed 150 people in Eugene that didn't have Thanksgiving dinners. Like what? Like how are we hateful if we're literally going around and just putting our own money on our own time into cooking and feeding 150 people that did not have the money to do so?
Like they all say we're only out here if we're getting paid. I've dug myself a way deeper hole, burned way more relationships, and have raised more money for other people. I don't have a house to live at. I have a 3-year-old. I don't have my own house. I don't have my own car. I don't have anything. I don't have any fucking money because all my money and effort and everything that I get goes back into the community and people who need help, and that's what we all do.
We don't make a shit ton of money. I actually lost $10,000 because I was focusing more on streaming than my business. Like compared to last year, I fucking lost $10,000. Like we're not making a ton of money. The money is going back, like he was saying, into the community. Like he and Boop Troop raised a ton of money during the wildfires to feed and like clothe the houseless.
And went out to the
I don't
fires
see hate
to do
there.
frontline work.
Yeah, we went to the fire. We pissed on fires and we're trying to put fires out. Like that's literally what we did. We peed on a fire. Like and like it's ridiculous. Well, I'm not joking. We pissed on a fire.
I know. I was like, what are you guys doing out there? Yeah, but it's not all about hate. Like it's all about love. And
If anything, yeah, it's more about love than hate. To be honest,
I made so many friends.
The hate part of it is the people we talked about earlier that have ill intentions, that come out here and hide in the crowd and wait till all the people who, like earlier, the protests that I used to be part of a long time ago before JC got really crazy, we would do like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 person marches in Northeast Portland. They'd march across the bridge and they'd meet at the waterfront. And what they said was, okay, this protest is over. This peaceful demonstration that we had no problems with, no windows were broken, no nothing was broken, is over.
I was there for those.
Yeah, and you know what they say? They say they're doing a direct action. They're doing a different action at the Justice Hall. So if you want to go there and participate in that, that's fine. If that's what your motive, that's fine. But this action is done. And what's happened since then is that there's no separation of that anymore. It's everybody's meeting at one spot, and whatever happens just happens. That's what the unfortunate part of this is that we've all been groped into that, and now everyone thinks every BLM event is a bad event. That's why the Patriots were in Vancouver this morning at noon, slashing people's tires and harassing people and not letting them leave because they were just out there to do shit. They weren't going out in Vancouver to go destroy shit.
So that protest this morning was peaceful, and there were Patriots that said it was a peaceful protest. The protest was over when it got nasty this morning. The Patriots didn't
It was
show up
done.
until
The
it was
protest was over, and they went out there and started harassing them for no reason, and it was a peaceful protest. So it's escalated to the point of of Kyle Rittenhouse and people going to cities where shit's burning down and shooting people to now to the point where they're going to these places. Like I'm in all these chats of all the chuds and all these streamers and people, and it is nothing but ban Boot Troop, ban this person, ban Ninja, ban this person. We need to do what we can. Earlier on my chat, I was looking at their chat and they were like, there's only like 4 of them down there. Now's the perfect time to go down there and get them.
Yeah, they said we're vulnerable.
Yeah,
they
said
don't
they
have any
literally
backup. They were
show
talking
all
about
the
attacking us.
screenshots. I have the screenshots. They
How
said,
about
there are 4 of them down there. They are vulnerable. That doesn't happen on our side. That we don't sit around and wait for the Patriots to get in small groups and attack them. That's only them. That's only them.
We saw leaked communications from the Patriot group.
Aside from your scenario when you've been at protests and people have been there that BLM or whatever doesn't like and you've been attacked, okay, I'm not going to discredit your experience because you have experience being at protests.
Many people gather screenshots and collect tweets and collect
Of people coming after you, yes, but
targeting patriots and targeting me and putting collecting energy towards somebody.
Bit to feed up to that. What happened? You said you were there, peaceful protests, and what started to happen? The Patriots started to come and assert their ability to just police people, and that's why we and people on the BLM side and the Antifa side starting to go, okay, well, all the Patriots are coming down here fully armed. So if they're gonna, if I'm not done, if they're gonna come down here and threaten us, then damn straight we're gonna threaten them back. Damn straight, if I get bear mace, I'm gonna find out who that motherfucker is, and I'm gonna get his information, and I'm gonna post it online. I'm gonna tell someone to fuck him up. Damn straight. But that wasn't happening the other way around. We were all out here peacefully protesting, and then the Patriots came and started fucking us up. They didn't come out here and go, what are you guys learning? They came out here and said, you guys are wrong. Fuck you. Pop, 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 pop. They didn't come out and ask questions. Aside from like you and other people and stuff, that never happened. It was just straight aggression. Just straight, you're wrong. Fuck you. This is our opinion. We're going to hurt you. That's what it's been.
We saw leaked communications from the Patriot group saying that they were planning on blocking up, infiltrating the crowd. They talked about injecting people in the crowd. They talked about targeting Antifa press, like specifically, like trying to follow us home and shit. You know.
I got followed in my car by a Proud Boy. He said it. He said he was a Proud Boy, and he like followed me, like took a picture of my license plate, and I was like, I was just sitting here filming. No, not today. This was the 100th day of protesting in Portland.
I don't see people on this side ever doing that.
Yeah, I have to turn my stream off before I even leave a public space.
You guys are seriously gonna claim that you've never seen people on the demonstrator side?
Oh no.
Doing horrible things.
I will say this. I've been a part of the groups that if you are like, I don't know, one random person who's...
Do you guys understand how many DMs I'm gonna get of hate tonight?
Yeah, so are we. Like, so are we.
I've joined.
You know how much hate we're gonna get for even talking to you?
Why do you
people in my chat
I haven't even wanted to read my chat tonight.
Yeah, but I've been glancing at mine. I'm gonna get so much shit too. Welcome to the club.
We hear of someone spying on us.
That is the worst. Like all the hate that I get and stuff. Usually I just don't care about any of it.
But guess what?
When you see like a Facebook of like some like grandma and she's got her Walmart glamour shot and she's the nicest lady in the world and she's got her dog and her husband and then she's saying the most vile things in the world to me, like that is just like, I do something wrong.
Props for you for doing that and still being out here. Props for you for getting knocked out and still doing that. Props for you for what's happened to you and Carissa, everybody else, like her, like everybody else.
So there's no other streamer. You're the only streamer on that side that I guarantee would come out here. You know, you see Jake behind enemy lines. He wouldn't come out here.
No, do you know what Jake did? He went home and laughed and was like, "Yeah, I trolled them. They thought that I was gonna come out here. You have way fucking bigger balls than even that. You fucking came out here. You walked up to a group of us like that. That takes fucking balls. And you know what the rest?
Did you think you were gonna get attacked?
I wouldn't do it.
I want to know. Did you think you were gonna get attacked when you walked up to us?
When like I said, I originally thought it was Dak and Boop Troop.
But then you saw all of us.
And then I knew I've met Baloo before, and I know he stood up against things before, so I was like, just so short. But then I came over and got a picture for my stream on that side, and then I saw like a crowd of at least 12, and I didn't know how many more were back there, and I was like, oh, what am I doing? And we went, the person that drove me went and parked a couple blocks away, and I sat there for like 10 minutes, like, oh my God. And then I got out, and as I was walking over here, I was like, this could be North Precinct round 2 for me.
So yes, you kind of thought that it was a possibility.
But then when I got about 10 feet away and I saw all the cameras, like, oh, they're all cameras.
Well, like we'll run people off. Like if there's like Chandler Pappas is like hiding on the corner over there, we'll like grab a group and just like escort them out of the city, basically. But that's like the only thing I've seen for targeting is never violence.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like. Okay, this person is a problem, they need to leave.
I've seen BLM and people on this side target people that have come to instigate things. Yeah, I've seen groups go and attack people that have been in the group and have attacked people before, like people that like have come to the group to like try to dox people or try to get people's faces that don't want to get taken. I've seen people target those people when they've seen them. Again, as far as just like BLM coming across a group of random people that they don't know anything about and just targeting someone because they believe in something different, that hasn't happened from my experience. But I've seen the Patriots multiple times just come out and target people for being not on their side, for not having a flag on. Like, it's different. Like we've been targeted, so we've targeted people that have targeted us. We don't just carry out acts of violence to do it, but we've all been fucked up by people just for being on this side. I get, like you said, I get death threat, I get all sorts of shit for just being on my side, for doing my own thing, for not saying I'm a patriot. I won't go on stream and go, fucking Antifa, yeah. So no, since I don't say that, they want to hurt me. Like it doesn't happen that way. Like we don't all have our own little Parler, our own racist app we can get on, or we don't have all this shit where we get on and talk about, oh look, yeah, there's only this many chuds left, we need to go get down there and get around them. That's never happened. But every single time I'm ever in any chat, it's nothing but, oh, there's this person's here, let's go attack them. Oh, that's all it is. And you can't tell me that that's my opinion, because I literally have the apps. I have accounts that people don't know who it is. I go in there and talk shit about myself just to get people's reactions on shit, and it's bad. Like, it's bad.
You walk by the wrong person's house, they'll throw like a frozen egg or something at you.
And how many times have we gone to ice and have glass balls thrown out?
And why are all those patriots getting kicked off these platforms like Twitter and Twitch and Facebook? Why? And why do they have to get their own little racist parlor, whatever the fuck you want to call it? Why? Why is that happening? Because and why are we still allowed on them? Because these people are hateful and they spread as much hate as possible. And a lot of those people are in your chat. I don't know if you realize that, but like the majority of your fan base is those people. Do you know that?
You have a skewed perception.
I've been reading your chat this whole time, and I watch your streams all the time. It's not skewed. You just said I haven't been reading my chat.
So,
nigga, we've been reading your chat.
So what I'm saying,
I don't even
is
want to know
that,
what they said
you
about
have-
me.
You have a very strong worldview.
I'm just like sitting here like this. They probably think
for instance,
I'm
you guys think that Parler is a racist platform.
I think it's becoming that way
there's
because
a very strong argument that can be made that it's a sucky platform.
it's a safe haven
I
for
joined
those
it
people.
recently. I haven't
Safe haven for those people because they've been kicked off of everything else.
It's a
Every other
safe
platform
haven
they've had, they've demolished them off.
So I think that that's an issue of the people that lean more left tend to want more controlled speech to avoid hate speech. The people that tend more right want to tolerate ugly speech in order to have free speech. And I think that's why people get kicked off of the social media platforms are generally conservatives, because it's just a mode of thinking as far as free speech goes. They're going to talk more crunchy. They're going to talk more disgusting. And a lot of these things that are, I get banned on Facebook sometimes. I got banned on Facebook because I called Kate Brown a tyrant. I'm not going to say it. Everything.
She's a
I don't
tyrant.
want to get banned off here, but I said that. I suggested she go through a legal trial and get what happens when someone is a tyrant.
That should probably happen. Agreed.
But anyways, let me pause for a second. I think we're all getting really exhausted. I can't stand for very much longer.
Just real quick though, you want to know why I have multiple accounts and why like I lost my personal page and like why Soul has gone through so many accounts? It's not because I'm like filming just like fucked up shit. It's because my account gets mass reported by chuds. Yeah, by people who are just claiming it's a fake account. But the chuds and those people are getting kicked off of those platforms because of their content, because of their hate speech, because of them actually, like, the developers are removing their pages. And like Facebook took my page because a million people went and told them it wasn't me. That's the only reason why. And they're all dumb because I'm going to get my shit back. Want to know why? Because I have screenshots of every single one of their chats going, yeah, we got him banned. We said it wasn't him. So I could just send it to Facebook and go, look how dumb they are. And then guess what? They're not going to let them back on that platform at all because of how fucking hateful they are. That's what's happened to them on every platform. It's not a coincidence that Jake has just been. He's been streaming for 2 weeks and 3 weeks, and he can't stream on any other platform on the internet but D Live now, or whatever, or fucking whatever Greg from his basement made for him to stream on.
The last 3 weeks, there's been a big sweep on conservatives. Like I've been watching it for a couple months, and all of a sudden, this last month, there's been a huge push.
Because the last couple months they've been getting more aggressive and fucking people up and going on their lives and like they talk on their lives about killing people and hurting people. That's why there's been a big conservative push on social media, because the last couple months they've been getting more aggressive.
It's the same reason that the FBI has categorized Proud Boys as an extremist group, and they have not done the same thing to Antifa. Explain that to me.
There's a coup going on in the government. Right
Oh,
now. There's
God, damn it.
There's two factions of the government warring.
is
You
the
don't
whole
think
thing.
that there's
I mean,
you
we
don't
should
think
go
that there's
ahead.
two factions in the government warring against each other right now?
Maybe there are.
But it's just convenient.
I'm just saying
it's just convenient that only those groups are getting knocked down. I've been on Facebook since June. I've been on all these platforms since June. Like all these chuds are getting kicked off their shit more. Like the chuds and all these people haven't been streaming since June. They've been streaming for the last couple months. And guess what? They've been kicking them off all these platforms because they're assholes.
So it's not like the BLM protests have gotten more violent.
No.
They've been violent the whole time. There's been police brutality since the
very beginning of it. The only thing that's gotten more violent.
Jake also wasn't banned for mass reporting. He was banned for violating Twitch policy. So that's another thing. It's not. It wasn't a mass reporting thing.
We're gonna disagree on a lot of stuff, and I think that's okay. I'm at the end of my ability to keep standing out here, but I think we need to keep encouraging these conversations. They're really, really hard, and we're gonna disagree fundamentally on a lot of things, but we have to talk to each other. Otherwise, it goes to violence. And I think we're all in agreement that like our country is at a pretty sketchy spot right now, right? They're like half the country. We're divided into two camps, and both camps pretty much largely hate the other camp.
Yeah,
I don't
but
want to see civil war.
I wouldn't say
don't
that
wanna
my
see tyranny.
viewers ever want violence, and I think that yours do, honestly.
Like I said, you said you just said it. I haven't been reading my stream. I haven't been reading my chat. Well, she's been behind me reading the chat the whole time, and it's nothing but violence and nothing but hate and nothing but look at all these fucking idiots. Yeah, you tell them, Phoenix. Look, they're such fucking idiots. Yeah, like that's all it is, and that's just what you surround yourself with, regardless of what you want to be. And that's great that you want to come out here and have conversations and like work these things out with people. Then use the platform that you have and the advantage that you have to have better relationships with the Patriots that we do, and talk to them. Like, don't you think it's dope that you were able to come up here and talk to us like this? Isn't that awesome? What would happen if we went to a group of Patriots and wanted to talk to them? We would get the shit kicked out of us.
A group of Patriot streamers?
No, just a group of Patriots. Regardless, like.
If I would have walked up to a group of antifa, like if I would have walked up to the group last night alone, that probably wouldn't have worked out so great. I don't know if I would have got beat up. I could run pretty fast. But I would not have been welcomed by myself.
You would have been welcomed if you were coming in to have a conversation, because we've gone to people that we don't like. Like we went to, what's his name, Dan Ryan's house, knocked on his door, he came out and had a conversation with us. We hate his guts. You know what I mean? Like if you organized a meeting to talk to protesters, you would definitely get a discussion. You would get stuff like what he's saying, like, you're fucking dumb, you're dumb as shit, like shit like that. But you get a discussion. As long as you weren't just there, like, with Patriots, just like filming everyone. If that happened, you get chased off for sure.
So we used to have at each side this summer, my group, we would have on Wednesdays, the Patriot side would have 3 people come up and speak, and we'd have 3 people come up and speak. And we'd have open dialogue, and it would be a weekly thing that we did all the time and had conversations. It happens, like we're open to it. We always have been.
Why don't we do that here in Portland?
We can.
I'm going to call it a night for me. I just want to say thank you for letting me talk to you guys. I'd like to continue talks like this. Jack, Ian, Marissa, I'm sorry we
Jared.
I've seen your face, even though I can only see this, very recognizable. So
Jared.
we've interacted at a lot of these events.
Yeah,
he's with me a lot.
I was gonna say I'm with Boop. Contracted the Boop trip. So.
I met you in Salem. I was like, who are you?
Yeah, I met you in Vancouver.
Salem.
And then you're like, I'm Bill.
At the,
and then you kind of stood
oh,
there.
you're the one that walked up to me?
Yeah.
Asked me?
Yep.
Everybody told me that like you were like to watch out for you. Like, oh, she's kind of trying to figure out.
No, because I was like, who is that guy? And then I like told them because they said that they,
Carissa's so menacing.
Okay, that's funny because I was
that
like,
your viewers
all I could
threaten
see is
them.
this, but I was like, I recognize those guys. So,
Yeah,
I remember you.
I
walked
met
up
you
to
in
me.
Vancouver because I was with Adam when you and Adam talked.
Okay,
and
yeah.
then I saw you again. What was it? I saw you a couple nights ago, or like a week or two ago again. But we've seen each other. Oh, it was last week. It was the Back the Blue, the Thursday flag wave or whatever when
I got cuffed.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mad
because
about
you
that.
were on the corner after.
What is your name?
I'm Jazz.
On
Jazz.
Jazz.
Jasmine.
Jazz.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Jazz.
Yeah,
Trey.
Trey, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna disagree on a lot of stuff fundamentally, and I think that's okay. So
Just go home. Just like the best, like you wanted to have a discussion, then go home and rewatch this. And everything we're telling you, look, I'm gonna do the same thing because like I want to know your perspective of things, and I want to know why you think certain ways. So I'm gonna go back and watch it and listen to it. And like I said, like you have like an advantage of having the opportunity to be able to communicate with those people. Like if you ask any of the BLM or the Antifa, we don't want to fight the Patriots. We don't want to have to bring bear mace. We don't want to have to do that. But like we feel like we need to defend ourselves because of the stance that they've taken and how they treat us. So it's like, let them know that most of us are just willing to have conversations. Like I will personally go anywhere and meet up with anybody and have any conversation. I don't care. Like that's why I do this. I'm not out here to hurt people. And we just like want them to know, like we don't want to have to battle. We don't want to have to come out. Like I'm more freaked out of Proud Boys and Patriots than I am of cops now, and it's stupid.
That's why I bought my bulletproof backpack vest.
Yeah, I didn't have to
Because
buy
of
a
those,
bulletproof
like,
vest
people
for
threatening me
police.
personally.
Yeah,
Like,
get the fuck outta here.
I don't think that I don't think a police officer is going to shoot me, but I'm more worried about like being a patriot. You know what I mean?
I just want to say before you go though that I'm glad that we had this conversation, not just for us, but for the viewers on either side, because
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of
we've
people on both
agreed
sides like that.
there needs to be more conversations.
Yeah, this was a very big
Um,
my chat has been going off the whole time.
Yeah.
I have a lot to read.
Yeah. On
Yeah,
that note, Villain, you let me interview you sometime?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Villain, I think you should.
Vice versa.
Okay.
I think you should talk to your chat at some point after this. They probably hate you.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the hate
Yeah.
mail's gonna be
you-
so bad.
It's gonna
You
be
should
terrible.
you should try and bridge the gap between
I wonder
them.
what my subscriber count is going to be. It was like 12,200
I'm
on
just
YouTube
like-
before this.
Yeah.
We'll see what it's like at the end.
You might
know
have
what I
gone,
mean?
you
Like-
might have pulled some in from the other side though.
Hey,
So-
side note, tree's still there. Just saying.
Yeah. Earlier
Do you guys actually
earlier
think
when
it's
we were
a
having our
threat that's gonna
discussion.
get burned?
So I truly am. I interact with people, and I know people on that side, and I enjoy some of them. But I'm pretty solo, isolated, lone person. I thought that flyer that I saw was a troll,
Okay.
but I figured I said it on my chat sometimes. I could come down and film the tree, and worst comes to worst, I just had a good time at the square and by the tree.
Yeah.
It'd be
That's
warm.
what
Or
we
if they
said.
come, then I'll film something.
That's what
Yeah,
we
that's
said.
why my live has been going for 5 hours and 22 minutes, and we were down here before that just chilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like.
we were just talking.
I can't believe it's been 3 hours out here already.
All right. well,
I'm at 5 on my stream.
yeah, I was at, I ended mine at 4, and I ended a while ago.
in before I had to
restart
it. Yeah.
All right. Even though I don't I disagree with you guys on a lot of stuff. If you guys are ever at events and you're getting targeted, and you see me, if you're not like hurting people or getting in people's face and fucking with them, I will call it off.
I mean, vice versa.
I'm
Like
gonna
I
tell
said,
you,
I'm
like
very
kidding.
strong
I'm
about
kidding.
free speech as long as you're not hurting people or
It
actually
was
trying
him. He told me to
disrupt
come here.
people.
No kidding.
What do you say?
Oh, just kidding. I was saying I'm gonna tell him you told me to come here.
Villain told me to
Great.
we're gonna come with like 100 people. Villain said it's okay.
All I'm saying
You
is
just
that
said,
all I'm saying is I will try to call people off and get you protected.
And-
I'm not saying that that then won't mean that I will get beat up too.
I mean, vice versa. Like I said, we've had a conversation. I respect your opinion. I respect you as an individual. And like, if I'm somewhere and I see Antifa just like ganging up on you, you're by yourself. I'm the type. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm gonna step in because that's not okay. So.
All right, guys.
All right.
Good talking to you guys. I
Yep.
really
Yep.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Good time.
thanks for at least coming out and trying.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said thanks for at least coming out and trying.
Yeah.
Nobody else would. So.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Yeah.
You too.
No thanks, I'm good. Thank you. Sit down and look at my chat for a minute. See the damage. What do you guys think? That's cool, Pedro says. Pedro says, alright. Pedro says you did awesome. I'm glad seeing some names that happy about it. Jay said what a waste of time. I disagree, man. Thanks, Jaded. Good job.
Sleep.
Oh, I'm so cold now. ribbon here. Oh. Sharon Jean says she has the biggest headache. DB. Alright guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm super cold, so I gotta shut the stream down and get out. Oh, I'm freezing my butt off. What time is it? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Alright guys. Looks like a lot of you thought that was positive, and MK, I'm sorry, I know I saw some I noticed a lot of super chats coming up, but I couldn't address them. So all of you that I missed, thank you for the super chats. I'm sorry I couldn't address them in a moment. MK says, great job, man. Stay safe and keep fighting the good fight. Much love to you. Thanks, MK. I appreciate that, man. All right, I'm starting to shiver pretty bad. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that this does something good, and I hope people start trying to talk to each other more, because there's too many people that I'm talking to on both sides that I'm hearing that they just want to go to war. They just want to crush the other side. But I don't think everybody that I've talked to that's actually seen war says that that's ludicrous. I think that we can make this generation come back together. We can make our country good for all people, and it's not divided. It wasn't divided like this just not too long ago, you guys. So. I guess I'll plug before I get out of here. Timber Labs sends $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And then TD says $4 super chat. Just didn't say anything. Thank you, TT. I'll do my plug real quick. You guys, if you're new to my chat, this is VillainReport live stream on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and follow if you enjoy it. Give it a share. You can also follow me on Facebook, VillainReport. I am in a 30-day ban right now for wrongthink, but I think you can still follow me on there. And then once I get out of there, I'll be able to interact again. Let me get this. My hands are frozen. So, God Rise a Harley sends $2. Best live stream in 200 days. Thank you, man. Scott Free sends $20. He says thank you guys. I really appreciate it. But you can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Parler, Facebook, YouTube. I think that's all of them. At VillainReport on the various different ones. If you want to help me support my efforts in doing these sort of things, you can hit me up on Cash App, Venmo, VillainReport. But if you like, just follow. I'm really cold right now. I'm kind of brain farting really bad. So if you like, follow, like, subscribe, share my platforms. I'd love to have you guys in there and interact. If one of my mods could throw up a Discord link real quick. If you guys know about Discord, hop on my Discord. I do live chats in there. I'm going to do some call-in shows there coming up. But I'm going to walk for just a second. So if one of my mods could throw up a link to my Discord, I'm going to mute for a second so I could call my ride and arrange that. Okay, I'm gonna head out of here, you guys. I'm not sure. Okay, so there's the link. DB just threw up the link to the Discord, you guys. If you want to join my Discord, go ahead in there. I'm gonna go ahead and shut down. I'm gonna say VillainReport out, but I'm gonna leave it up for a minute so you guys that want to can go through and grab that link to Discord. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for helping me out the last couple months. I hope that my effort in trying to create dialogue keeps growing. I hope that it influences you guys to have dialogue with people you disagree with. Agree to disagree with people. But on that note, you guys, thank you to all my mods tonight. Really appreciate you guys. You helped me keep my platform from getting shut down by trolls. And thank you guys. The Villain Report is out.